I think it's fair to say that there's been an awful lot of upheaval in every single region in Rainbow Six Siege after SI concluded, but no region seems to have more newcomers this year than North America does. And a lot of players who frankly have been grinding through T2 for quite some time and have now found success. Admittedly, very short-lived because Kickoff is only a couple play days long, but there's still both stages of the NAL to go. And while not everybody is going to qualify for the Salt Lake City Major, it is a great opportunity for the newer faces to have a bit more of a, I don't know, how would you say it, a smoother entry and an easier entry. Because if you don't make the major, that's fine. Lots of teams won't do it. You have plenty of time to retool and then prepare for stage one. Well, Mint watches an awful lot of T2 and T3, and he asked, why not bring some of those fresh faces on? And I thought it was a terrific idea. So credit to Mint for this episode. This is the NAL newcomer episode of DBNO, episode number 53 on your screen. I have no idea what order you're actually going to be on the screen, but we have joining us both Packer and MikeW. They're joining us from team formerly Foot Locker's finest, but due to trademarks, you are not allowed to be called that. So you are now going by one of 30. And then we have Millie and Trevmak joining us from Outlast. Welcome on in, guys. Congratulations for making the NAL for those of you that have not made it before. But we'll start off by talking to the one man who's been around the block a few times. Packer, it's not your first rodeo. How has Kickoff been in comparison to competing in the regular stages of the NAL?
With this team, I will say I've had the most fun out of most of my teams. Wildcard was up there too, of course. But this team I've had the most fun. I think every single time we play, I think it shows when we're losing rounds. I think we're still keeping a good mindset and going to the next round. And everyone can still joke with each other no matter the cause, right? Like we had a terrible mishap on the first game and we were still laughing the whole time. So I've had a great time this kickoff, and I'm happy that we can keep improving for the future.
Mike, as another member of the team, is he talking ish or is he spot on there?
I think he should have moved out of the way. I don't know. I think I don't think it was my fault. I don't know.
Oh, we're already going toward that, huh?
No, I don't take accountability. I can't.
For those that are unaware, Mike made one hell of an entry to Tier 1 Rainbow Six Siege, where an easily winnable round on the top floor of Clubhouse went completely tits up because Mike decided to not kill his opponents but kill his teammates. So it was, admittedly, did you feel badly? Did you feel like that, like kind of like your face is warm, like, oh shit, I screwed up? Mike, was it just like, whatever, it happens?
I mean, I knew exactly where like the round was going. As soon as as soon as I kill him, I know I'm dying. But I mean, the biggest, takeaway from it was, one, I understood that the next round I couldn't sit there and just play like a coward, and two, on stream, yes, the real mistake is me killing Packer, or the mistake you all see is me killing Packer, but the real mistake was me not listening to Packer when he's telling my ass to leave. That was the real issue.
The cops were like, Mike, leave.
Yeah, no, I was supposed to get the hell out of there, and it's not that I didn't hear him, I just simply didn't listen. But yeah, no, I don't think it got to me too much. I mean, the next round I got opening kill, and I don't know.
Well,
do you think you win that match if you don't?
I mean, you can say that, but I guess maybe we went down 5-6. I think there's a lot of other things that we could have done better to win the map. I think the same confidence and playing with overconfidence that made me team kill Packer is the same thing that kept us in a lot of the other rounds. So I can't really sit there and be mad about that. I don't know. I think it kept us in the
I wouldn't
game.
only put that up. I wouldn't only we should have won that game even with the TK. We just didn't play up to our standard.
We didn't ID the site on the last round. We mis-ID'd the site on the last round.
Yeah, we did. Some guys did that.
And so we had 2 shields on a basement attack, and we didn't realize till we were in the process of roam clearing that the site was basement. So
how does that happen? How do you miss that?
Someone just called, that they were reinforcing a different area than they were. And
was that somebody, one of you two?
No, it wasn't me. It was not me. It was completely me.
We got some jackasses that that maybe a little overconfident in their audio.
Mhm.
Maybe not looking for the right cues for what the bomb site is, but
That was my fault.
I see the two Outlast guys just trying not to laugh openly at you while sitting here in like the same room as you. I mean, you two on Outlast, I'm sure when you've been scrimming and stuff, you guys have probably miscalled sites, or maybe you haven't.
We may have done that on the
Not
C9
even.
C9 game?
Yeah, the
C9
second round,
game.
we didn't know they were kitchen. We got the, hey, they're basement. Hey, they're not basement as soon as the round starts. Which,
it's a center team. You gotta know they run kitchen though. I mean, y'all
Yeah.
knew they were in kitchen
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
clashes up.
I think that's like a normal problem like these newer teams have is the information game and IDing. Actually, like IDing sites and things like that because yeah, it's like those little things that you learn in T1. Packers obviously been in T1 a big time, so no excuses there, buddy.
No, I did.
excuses.
Listen, I took full blame.
Yeah. As a leader should. And I feel like that shows maturity too.
We still could have won the
How,
round too. We just didn't play.
yeah,
it up to
I mean,
standard.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the story of the whole game, though. Is we were in winning positions a lot of the rounds, but just couldn't close it out. And I think
we
that's
just
been the
didn't
story of
execute
our whole group stage. To be honest, and there's been a lot of rounds we're in control of, and we fumble.
Well, I mean, you guys are new. You're both brand new teams. You're both playing under a meta that is steadily evolving, and frankly, I mean, you guys are the ball knowers here, but seems to be evolving very quickly through how little play days we actually have, and stakes are really high. You have 4 play days realistically. You have 4 single maps to prove that you can be in the top 8, and that's it. Like that's tough for any team to do, and you're trying to do it with the fact that both of you are. Well, I guess one of you has an org technically, but you've got a lot of stuff going on in the background there. It's tough. It's really, really tough.
2 weeks preparation as well.
Yeah.
It's like we qual and then it's like 2 weeks we're straight into like our first kickoff play day. So it was pretty difficult.
Yeah, especially for us. We formed literally 2 days before the second qualifier of Challenger Series, so we had to play those. We had those.
Our qualifier situation, that's a whole other thing about Challenger Series this time around with the transfer window, like the timing of the transfer windows, and you're waiting for the T1 rosters to settle, and then you immediately have Challenger Series. And so this Challenger Series, we got almost exclusively pug stacks, and I think in my opinion, I've played all the T2 tournaments in the last year. It was, in my opinion, the least competitive, or at least the weakest competition in Tier 2 in the last year.
What you think? You think it's mostly just because these teams were assembled at the last minute?
Yeah.
Is there more to it than that?
There was no structure to most of these teams. It was literally just who could shoot the best. We struggled with Trev's team because they had some structure and we just couldn't really handle that on. I forget what map we struggled on, but it was one of the 2 maps we played them on. Layer. We just couldn't deal with it, and we were just getting cooked.
I want to talk a little bit about how you came to be as a team, because both of you, if I remember correctly, were originally associated with other teams that existed. But I want to talk to the Outlast guys a little bit here, just because for people who are familiar with the scene, Outlast has a roster that might not be as well known as the Foot Locker's finest guys. But I mean, Trev, you're a staple. You've been around forever, right? And you've actually said the least of anybody on this show so far. So I just want to hear from you. One of the things that we have said when we've been casting is the comparison that we've used with you is to guys like Karn and Achieved, who have been around for a long, long time, who have consistently teamed with a lot of players through Team 2. And now is finally getting a shot, obviously, at the top league. Karn, obviously, as far as I'm aware, he's never played official Tier 1 league sanctioned events. I know he's played at, I think,
He was on a team for a bit, but he didn't play.
He was on a team for a week. He was close.
But he didn't actually play a match, right?
Correct.
No.
Yeah, that's what I had thought. But Trev, I mean, it's been, I don't want to say it's a long time coming, but man, you've been grinding and now you're finally here. The age-old question that everybody asks that people fucking hate is, how do you feel?
I think at first when I first qualified, I wasn't excited as I thought I would be. I think, like in life, sometimes you work so hard for something and then you achieve it, and you're kind of like, now what? That's kind of what I felt, I think, at the moment. But like, I think a week after, I was kind of like, oh, like I finally achieved like my goal. But then again, like the job wasn't really done because even right now, not getting the results I wanted.
Yeah, I was going to ask Millie, did you have the same? Were you still like very even keel, or were you excited? Was anybody on the team overjoyed?
Well, leading up to it, like it didn't even register in my brain. Like it took losing to Packer in that game to realize, like, wait, I'm playing for a pro league spot. Like I need to lock in. So the next, like that night after losing to Packer, I sat there and was like, wow, like I really want to win tomorrow. And it didn't register in my brain that I wanted to until after that. So after winning the next day, I was happy, but then it kind of settled in like, okay, well, you know, I've achieved the goal. Now I need to set new goals. So it was like, we achieved this. Now what? Like Trev said, like, now we have to win or do something here while I'm here. So I was happy, but it was short lived. Now it's on to better things, hopefully.
And I mean, I feel like a lot of times players will puff up their chests, and when we ask them this question, they'll say, you know, oh, we were aiming to be the best. But I think in kind of the quieter moments, especially on podcasts like this, we ask the question and we get a bit more of an honest answer. And I'll ask, what were your expectations? You guys make it in, you've got kickoff, you know it's very short. The NAL stage 1 is still a couple months away. Was it, hey, let's just not finish last in our group? Was it, hey, we need to be in competition for first overall? What were either of you thinking was the answer to that question of what's next? What were your expectations for kickoff?
I think initially, just like when we first, at least for me personally, Millie's answer may be different, but when we first qualified, it was kind of like, okay, there's only 4 games, 4 best of ones. I think there's a really high possibility of us making playoffs because it's like win one game, you're kind of almost guaranteed. Obviously, it didn't go that way. So I had like a high expectation of making out of groups, but obviously it didn't happen. And I would say like as soon as we did make it, our whole week, like so we've only been a team like a week before the very first qual. I think we had like 2 scrims, Millie, and then I went on vacation for a week, and then the team actually scrimmed without me, and then they said it helped a lot. So we came back with I came back on the first qual, and we had like no practice before.
And we won.
Yeah, and then we won the first qual. Yeah, and then we didn't have much practice like during actual CO, or like we had like a week of practice between like the first 2 quals to the second 2. So like going into NAL wasn't really expecting a whole lot.
Yeah, I would say similar to Trev, I thought we could. I wanted to scalp a win. Like I knew we were the underdogs for every matchup. I knew that's how it was going to be because, you know, I mean, just 5 rookies, like inherently we are going to be the underdogs. So I definitely thought in BO1's group stage, we could definitely scalp a win off a team that is on paper supposed to be better than us. But I would say like leading the 2 weeks after qualifying leading into our game days for the NAL kickoff were rough, like scrim wise. First 2 games obviously were against the 2 better teams in our group on paper, and then scrims leading up to our next 2 games against the, you know, on paper worst teams were a little bit better. Yeah, like they were quite a bit better. And then I just think we underperformed in those games heavily.
Mr. Ballknower?
Is that me?
Kyle? That's you.
That's me.
I don't want to box you out here.
No, you're not boxing me out. I wanted to see kind of where we were heading with it. I would love to talk about how the season went with all these fine gentlemen here, but I also want to give the audience maybe a little bit of perspective on some of the history, because we have 3 new players. Everyone, if you watch Pro League, everyone should know who Packer is. But we'll start. I do want to start with Packer, but we do have like 3 brand new players. Mike, I think you at least caught my eye this past year, and then for probably everybody else, unless you watch Turtle Tactics, you have no fucking clue who the hell Trevmak or Millie is. And your guys' story to making PL is phenomenal, even if you've only won 6 rounds so far. But still, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I do want to start with Packer. That like your history, I feel like came around 2023. You were on a very, I feel like, known team at this point called Reality TV, which for anyone who doesn't know was the Gaveni, Mr. B, Giddy was on that team, I believe, Tristan, and obviously believe who was coaching you was Fet the whole time, right? Okay, so our fabulous co-host as well. I'm curious how that team kind of got put together, because at least for me, it put all of your names on the map. Many people are in Pro League from that roster, or at least had Pro League chances. So how was it kind of put together of teams or players I've never heard of? And then what was it like playing on that roster?
So me and Gavin have been friends for like at this point, like 8 years, 9 years. I've known him since console. It's been a very long time. Me and him still talk to each other pretty often. But we've been friends for a very long time, and me and him would play T3 together. We were on JJ's team actually together, and we played the CL quals, and we ended up losing to the filthy Maxley team with like Dexter. We lost to them in like the final. So we didn't make CL. And then Mr. B tried me out because he thought I was really good. And then he picked up me, and I was like, you have to get Gavin. Like, there's no, like, I basically made it because Gavin picked me up to JJ's team, and then I picked up Gavin to Mr. B's team. So then it was me, Gavin, Trist, and Woos for stage 2 of CL. We played, we were almost in first, and then we lost the last play day because Woos at the time thought he had some crazy disease. So he was like playing like he thought he was going to die, so he just didn't even want to play the game. And Trist was also the worst rated player in CL at the time, so he wasn't playing that great. So we ended up losing the final game to like one of the worst teams in the league, I think. So then we obviously had to make changes because Trist didn't play that good. And then Woos was like, I have to quit. Like, I think I have like this crazy disease. So then we got Giddy because Giddy just played on an 8th place team, I think. And we're like, he's one of the better players in CL. And then Tristan was on like a T3 team at the time. He was just turning 18, and like we thought he was really mechanically good. And like we were still unproven at the time, like me, Gavin, and Mr. B. So we were like, oh, let's get Tristan. Like he's an unproven talent. Like we can like coach him up. And we did that with Giddy. And the rest was kind of just history. We kind of just formed after that and just kind of dominated.
I think at that point, then it's what was it like playing with? And Mike, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you played with Mr. B as well at one point in your career. What was it like playing with Mr. B? Because
I was going to ask that exact question. We're mentally linked here.
We're here. That's the thing I'm most curious about. If anyone knows who Mr. B is, that guy's crazy. So I want to hear, how was it like playing with him?
For me, I loved playing with Mr. B because he took a lot of stress off of myself. Like, I've done the whole IGLing thing, and like the way he does it, I could never do it. He does it all off the dome. Like, I mean, sure, you practice it out. Like, it's never on paper, but like you'll like have it like repped out in practice, if that makes sense, like the defaults and stuff. But he'll just call random stuff off his dome, and it'll work. And as long as you have an open mind, he'll make it work. But he is obviously very stubborn, right? Like everyone knows, like everyone's heard the stories. But I had a great time playing with him. He's just obviously he's a little goofy and a little chaotic and a little stubborn, but I really had no complaints playing with him ever. I think everyone has their issues, and some people just can't deal with those issues, but I could always deal with them. So I never really had a problem.
I remember the big rumor that went around with Mr. B was that like he got into an argument with Canadian. That was the rumor at one point. I don't know how true that is, and I was there. I don't really.
It wasn't like an argument. It was more just telling him like he just doesn't like his system, and he thinks like it like his system would work better or something. It was. I don't remember it like exactly because it's been years now at this point, but it was something like that.
He told Troy he wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
In the call with me, that Troy didn't want it enough.
Yeah.
At which point we laughed and left the call, and he was scribbled off our list at that point.
Because listen, he has his ways, man. I don't know.
My
part of what-
Mr. B story was we were in Montreal and I'd had maybe a couple adult beverages, so I don't have the greatest memory of it, but he came down and he was telling me about how hungry he was to like be the best and prove himself and, you know, like get ready and be excited for our team and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, I gotta say, you know, like whether people like that are insane or are grounded in reality, they are terrific for me because they make my job a lot easier. Right? Like I'm sure you four probably don't consciously think about this because your job is to just spawn into the server, do well, try to win as much as possible, right? Maybe you do think about the broader scene. Maybe you think about content. Maybe you think about coming on this show. Maybe you think about streaming yourself and how that helps the community. It also helps you, but it helps the community too. When you get guys like Mr. B, I'm just like, or you get guys like Super, or you get guys like Troy, guys that are just like, they're fired up and they're super animated. I don't really have to do as much work. I can just lean into it and talk about them and that's it. And I know that sometimes people are like, oh, well, you talk about these players too much. And it's like, it's because they make it easy. They make it really easy for me to do my job. And you know what? If he talks a huge game and then he just absolutely sucks and blows up, that's even better because then you've got a big storyline there to tell. So for me, guys like Mr. B are indispensable. Might be bad teammates and might not be the best leader for you to have and might not have the best interview for a new team, but ultimately I think they're great for everything else.
I think part of what makes him, I really think B's like great. I think he's a rare breed. I don't think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of fraud, quote unquote, IGLs, especially in NA. And I think B, I mean, part of what makes him so great as a leader is also kind of like was his downfall. I mean, I guess he's like quit now. So, I mean, he is so stubborn, but you know, he makes the team play his way, and it really like it reinforces like the simple idea of if you're on the same page, shit is gonna work a lot better than if you got, you know, people on different pages. Some, you know, there's different ways to play the game. B is very hard-headed in his philosophies, and this is how you play the game. This is what's right, and he gets everyone to do it. But also that ultimately is like what kind of led to my like falling out with him. Was that he was so hard-headed, and shit needed to change for us to get to the next level. When, you know, from where we were in T2, you know, we got second place back to back. But I mean, I think he's just a great leader, though. I mean, he exemplifies a lot of like, I think, qualities in leaders that I don't see often in other IGLs, and I don't know. I think he's a great guy. I love B. B's like literally my favorite. I don't know. I fucking love him, but holy shit, is he hard to team with, man.
Yeah, I truly believe that like towards the end, like he lost his passion, so he didn't keep up as much as the meta. But like when on the RTV team, like I believe we were playing like that meta of that time, and like I think we would have been a top team in NAL if our team just like all five of us just transferred, because we were dominating like pro league teams in scrims. Like
you were, I remember those days.
So like it was just his way. He was stubborn, but if he kept his passion up, I still like. He would have been in the league. If he also like learned how to deal with his attitude, he would have been on Pro League for a long time.
I'll say the B I got like at least like kind of like gameplay wise philosophy is a lot different than the RTV. So I think he had a better idea of the game on the RTV, and I think with the way he is as a leader, I do think like that is part of why they were like so good. And I think that was like a big issue, was just like his idea of the game. But I think he's a great fucking leader and a great IGL. He's very, very articulate.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with your guys' points on. Sorry, go ahead, Parker.
I was just going to say, do either of you two guys in Outlast have any real experience with him, or is it?
He was trying to poach me from a team I was on one time, and then he quit the game. So,
yeah, Millie was. I talked to B about top prospects because the idea in B's head was that I was going to a Pro League team, which is what I told him is like it's not going to happen. But I ended up joining Gio's team, and so we were talking about his next targets to develop. Millie was up there. I remember that, and so I think that's cool.
That's really the only experience I have with him. He DM'd me, and I had talked to him like a few times, but nothing crazy.
I mean, Millie, you did even play T2 before, correct?
I played T2, but my teammates slept through the game, and we got eliminated.
Okay, so I would consider that T2, but you've kind of been around T3, and I remember even when we were, the turtle team, you were very heavily vouched by a lot
pick up Millie.
A lot of the peers. Trevmak's DMs were probably flooded. Mine were flooded. The story goes right there with Mike. Mr. B was possibly looking at you, right? Like you were kind of a name that kind of came out of nowhere. And really, I don't know anything about your history. Were you just kind of playing T3 tournaments?
I honestly don't know why I was so heavily vouched. I mean, I'll take it, I really don't know. Like, I don't even think I was performing that well in like T3 and everything. I guess I just had a lot of connections and people saw potential. So I appreciate that and everyone that vouched me.
This message is sponsored by Raycon. If you, like me, are not always the best son, you might not know that Mother's Day is very quickly approaching. Yes, that's right. Scribble it down in your calendars. You know that there are very few things than the immense feeling of shame not knowing that a day to celebrate your old mom is coming up. Well, if you're wondering what kind of gift to get her, why not get her a pair of Raycon's everyday earbuds classics. I use these things when I'm going about running errands. I use them when I'm on public transit. They are phenomenal stuff. And my mom is also somebody who quite likes music. Now, she listens to this podcast from time to time, and maybe she might listen in when I'm casting. So having earbuds at the ready is kind of a convenience. You get up to 32 hours of battery life when you factor in the case. It is a quick charge function. Just 10 minutes will give you 90 minutes of playtime. And there's an awareness mode that kicks in when you're out just doing things that lets you hear what's happening around you so you're not completely locked in, oblivious to the world that exists outside. I know outside can be kind of scary, right, gamers? Anyway, I use these when I leave my house. They're wonderful stuff. I'd strongly encourage you to get them for either you or for your mom if you want to show her how much you care. So celebrate the moms in your life this Mother's Day. Head on over to raycon.com/DBNO. That's the name of our show. And you'll get 15% off the everyday earbuds classics. Whether you want them or maybe share them with your mom. Thanks so much for Raycon sponsoring this video.
I got this book. I actually think this book is like
there it is.
half the reason I actually made Pro League. It's called Ridley.
That's the DZ book we read every 3 months right there.
From good to great to unstoppable.
That's what I was wondering because if anyone has ever heard Callout.
From Callout.
Yeah,
Mike just doesn't like reading apparently.
No. I'm not gonna. I got the.
Oh! TikTok brain.
Wait, his PC crashes. I'm sorry. Or his internet crashes every once in a while.
We got a good one on Mike. We can keep going. I said reading and his computer just we need to delete and consolidate his computer.
It's only happened one time during a game. We've only had 2 rehosts be our fault.
No, it was the different. I told you it was a different reason.
Oh, it was a different reason. It was his actual internet crash.
Yes.
So wait, you don't like reading? We didn't hear you. You cut out.
No, my ADHD is really fucking bad. I can't sit there and read. I can't lie. I mean, I started reading a really good book in high school, and I don't know. My thing is how do you get people I'm thinking how do you get people like Gavin to sit there and read a whole book? Like passages, excerpts, I get that. You're telling me Gavin's about to I'm not disrespecting Gavin's a great fucking player, and he's a goofball. I don't know him, I guess, in a more teammate sense. But is he really sitting there and reading the book? I've teamed with people that I've teamed with them. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that sits there and read a book for play.
Not by his own choice.
I'm sure.
Say read this book or you're off the team. I think it's a pretty easy decision.
I mean, that's fair.
He just might not get. You might not. I'm not saying him, but you just might not get a lot out of it. I know people that are readers that it's just they don't remember it the moment they finish reading it. And it's okay, I think this does open up, I guess, a bit of a broader conversation that we don't necessarily need to have unless you guys want to jump into it, which is about team atmosphere and how important that is. Because, if you listen to the cast, this is something that we frequently cite. right? Like we talk about like DZ's old like atmosphere. We talk about the old SSG now. Obviously, they're DZ now. For people that are trying to follow along, don't get too confused. But it's like there's been like a huge uptick in teams across all regions, like going to the gym together, reading together, watching stuff together, playing other games together, streaming together. And I mean, like, you guys are still relatively new teams, but you've got experienced players. And like, surely there's some value in like team building exercises, no matter what they are, right? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I'll definitely say like, that is actually something I'm very big on, is that kind of stuff. So I mean, it may seem weird, I'm like this and that. I mean, I can't sit there and read. Like, I can't. I'm sorry, but like, no, I definitely the team culture, like in that aspect and how it plays into like how you actually perform. I have like a big interest in, and I make it like a big point in a lot of my teams. But yeah, no.
Well, it doesn't need to be just reading, right? It can be anything. But I just think like team culture is important, and this would be your domain here, but like the team culture that can't really exist these days because teams are so fractured and spread out, versus the Las Vegas days where you literally all lived with each other. Like it's a little bit harder for you to build team chemistry when, I mean, let me ask you guys, have you met in person all of your teammates at this point? No.
Not a single one. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, if you think about it, like realistically, how much can you really build chemistry wise and team atmosphere wise if maybe the first time you're meeting your teammates is when you qualify for LAN, or you go to LAN as just like spectators? Like, I've
actually met three of my teammates in person. I met Bino because of Montreal, Nate because of the Philly LAN, and then I've met Mike at Boston. So
I didn't think we met. I forgot Boston. Like, I think about like the LANs I went to, but I forgot like Boston. No, yeah, no. Yeah.
So I've had the chance, luckily, to meet three of my teammates.
Yeah, same here. Okay, I've gotten three. Everyone except Silo, and Silo's like the newest player, so that makes sense.
Well, like for you guys on Outlast,
still,
like
you're not like in there.
Yeah. Do you find it hard? Do you find it harder that you assembled pretty quickly, you qualified, and now you're playing, and you guys are kind of all strangers to each other, right? Like, is that tough? Like, Trev, you've been on a bunch of teams before. Like, how much value do you think there is in the familiarity that comes with knowing your teammates on a deeper level than just like, hey, we've been together for a couple weeks and we don't know who each other is?
Yeah, like the other three players, like Nesta, Logger, and Veronix, they've teamed together for like about a year together. So they have like the team chemistry, team bonding, where when they joined us, we teamed with Logger like before, but I didn't even know who the other two were. And before we teamed with Logger, I had no idea who he was. So it was like, and then I've known Millie because of Turtle, but even before Turtle, I didn't know who Millie was. So like, I'm relatively new to like everyone.
I've looked at
and you lead that team, right? Like, you lead that team. Like, how don't you? And you've led teams before. Not really knowing your soldiers makes it a little bit harder to be a general, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely is harder.
Yeah, I think we're running into that issue kind of now, like, because I kind of do think we had a honeymoon phase for sure, like, and now it's kind of like settling. It's like, okay, now we got to figure more things out, especially if we want to go to the like higher level. If we want to win more than 6 rounds, we got to iron these things out. So we're getting to that point right now during the off season.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I definitely think there's ways to do it online nowadays, Parker, but I mean, obviously the days of Vegas were great, and everyone being able to hang out and do things at all times, go to the gym together, even go to the store together, go get food together, like little like team bonding moments like that. But there's definitely ways to do it online. I think Callout's program with Optima too definitely helps things with that. I know teams are doing like this Zoom call thing we do here. Teams will meet, turn their cameras on so they at least see each other in like person and things like that. But to your main point, it is extremely important, like the culture and the bonding. And I think we're seeing it now with some of the newer teams in the NAL having success. 5 Fears being the biggest one, they're the number 1 seed. Packer, your guys' team, like 1 of 30. I think you guys are having success. Like, you guys can tell, like, there's almost like no pressure when you play. It seems like you guys are just playing with like extreme confidence. Whereas you look at a team, and we'll probably talk about it later on, that Shopify that has all the eyes on them. Looking on, like, I'm sure they have a fantastic culture. They've met each other in person at LAN events multiple times, but there's something going on within the team where the culture is kind of stinks a little bit because there's again this immense pressure that is on them. yeah, so that's kind of the biggest thing. And I think for Outlast too, I think right now, I think you guys probably put unnecessary pressure on yourselves, probably your first season. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely
100%.
nerves, 100%.
I think a big thing for us was like I've been friends with everyone for a long time. And like we just like randomly formed. And I think a big thing for us was just like you have to show up to the games and just don't care. Like just play with like we go to practice and a lot of, like maybe not like the last week, but like the week before that, before the stage, we were basically just like joking with each other every scrim. Like Nate would just call me horrible every day, and then I'd call him horrible back, and then Mike would call me horrible. And then like it's just like we're just joking with each other the whole time. Like we would have a terrible whiff and just crack jokes about it the whole time. Like it's just like we would just show up to scrims just like as like friends and just like mess with each other the whole time. And sure, the scrim like sometimes like we'd have a bad scrim, but like the vibes would still be high. Like we would still go into it and like we'd learn a lot of stuff. And I just think we actually like we had a bad week of scrims going up until this week, and we had to kind of get back to that. So like, but I do think that like helps a lot, right? Is like being friends with everyone and just making sure that you're always you're playing for the goal to win with the confidence to win every single time. Because I've been on teams that have played like putting pressure on themselves, and you just end up playing scared and you don't win. Like you can't win an NAL if you play scared and don't take chances.
And I was going to ask about that. Is that something you learned more recently? Because obviously you had your stints on M80, your stints on Cloud9, and those rosters, those organizations seem to be putting more pressure on you. So is that something you kind of feel like now you've learned?
I think a big thing with like a lot of my teams that I've been on over my career is just it was always my dream, and I never got to stay on a team for more than a stage or like a season basically. And I think that was really like my own fault more than it was like what role I was on or like the system, because I would always put so much pressure on myself because it was my dream at the end of the day. And I didn't really realize it until recently when I've kind of like stopped like rage queuing the game. Like I don't just like sit there and like queue all day because I have like personal responsibilities now. Like I'm doing school, I have a girlfriend, like I have like these things, and I go to the gym on a daily basis. So now like I'm focused on like my daily life more, and it's made me way better at the game because there's less stress every time I show up to the game now, and I have more responsibility than I used to, so I don't really care as much as I'll say 19-year-old me did. So I think that's really helped like the team, because if I'm less stressed, I won't ever take it out on my teammates, and that will make everyone play better because everyone plays with more confidence when I'm just sitting there being goofy and like laughing with everyone.
I like that you. This is going to be kind of cheesy here for a second. You guys are all young. Mint and I are obviously older. And I'm getting to a point now where it's like, I feel like a dad to a lot of these players because of the age difference here. To have a pro player sit here and be like, I was so happy because this is my dream. There's just something about it that just like warms your heart. Like, obviously, like it's a job and there's so much to it, but it's just like people often forget that it's like there's a human element to it. And it's like all four of you have quite literally, I imagine you all have achieved a dream that like the younger versions of yourself always wanted. And it's like, it's something that I reflect on too. Like if I go back in time and tell like 16, 17, 18-year-old, Parker, like, hey, you're going to be doing this, that'd be sick. So it's just like, I hope that no matter what happens, whether you have success in Kickoff, whether you don't, whether you have success through the rest of the NAL for the rest of the year, like I hope all of you take some time to reflect on win or lose. Even if you are the worst team to ever play in the NAL, you still played in the NAL. Nobody can ever take that away from you, and you quite literally lived a dream. So I hope you guys do reflect on that, even if it's not exactly, nobody expects to join and be, at the bottom. But like, if you're still there, you're still better than pretty much everybody else. And it's still a huge accomplishment, and you should be proud of yourselves at the end of the day. So just something that I just wanted to touch upon. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
They didn't interrupt. That was a great, because you're absolutely right. I feel like the general audience doesn't think about that. We like to get on people a lot. I do that in sports too. If I'm watching my favorite team, I'm like, that guy sucks. Get rid of him. Right. But
look at the Spoit dialogue from last night's game, for crying out loud.
Oh,
right.
Man.
Like,
good Lord.
Spoit's on every milk carton in the nation, like missing, where are you? Like, and we filmed the episode before the NAL 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And now we're recording on Saturday. So we're in the wake of yesterday's matches. Yeah. And it was like, I went out, I was offline for most of the games, didn't watch any of it. Literally just checked my phone, and it was just like Spoit. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah,
crazy.
I need I need to open up. I need to go into like my router and block access to Reddit.com and go into Twitter and like block it to where the word "spoit" doesn't pop up on my timeline. All this other stuff. I need to do all this because you open it up, it's like Outlast versus Cloud9. You click on it, and it's like, how are these guys even in the league? These guys better not be getting paid more than $50. Like, it's just people just straight bashing you, and they don't know the inner workings of like what's going on, or like people just don't understand.
It's also talk is cheap, right?
Listen, I've been there.
Yeah.
I was on Media. I had maybe the worst SI invite ever. Listen, I've been there, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's rough.
You gotta just put it out of mind.
Biggest piece of advice is because I literally retired off of Reddit. I had the worst stage of my career ever, and I kept going on Reddit and Twitter and seeing I should hang it up, and I let it get to me, and I hung it up the next stage. So,
jeez,
definitely don't let that shit kind of bother you. You guys are so young too. Like even if you guys get kicked out of the league, you have so much time to make it back. Look at Packer right here. How many times is this guy gonna fucking make it back? How many times? This guy's inevitable at this point.
He's literally
one more in him for sure.
It's like a compliment, but also an insult at the same time.
like
Hey,
backhanded compliment.
we're gonna get into that.
Part of the beautiful thing of esports is how accessible it is, right? Like you can just like a lot of fans can just DM you, and we respond because like that's it. Like we're not like celebrities. We're not like professional athletes that have other people run their social media, for crying out loud. Like if you say bad things about us, we will probably see it. And you bet your ass that like the people who want to say bad things about you are very aware of that, right? Like there are people who will go out of their way to antagonize and try to drag you down, whether it be on Reddit or on Twitch or on YouTube or whatever, or Twitter or whatever platform you use. And it's like, I've dealt with it, Mint's dealt with it, we've all dealt with it, for crying out loud. And I think it's important that you like, as this is like the type of thing that you'd hear on like a Hallmark card, but like it's important that you like protect your peace, because there's so many distractions that you already have that it's like, don't let that stuff affect you. At the end of the day, a nameless, faceless commentator on social media really doesn't impact your life. Like it's very important, because I think a lot of us want to be liked, and a lot of us, like, none of you want to play in this league and be dog shit. Let's be honest. Like all of you want your clips to be shared. Like all of you want like, oh, Millie had the best fucking day in NAL that we've ever seen. Like, look at this Mike clutch. Like that's what you guys want, right? Like everybody does. We want people to appreciate us. But obviously the pendulum swings the other way, and there are lots of haters that just love to tear down people who are successful. So it's one of those things where if you have to like stop using Twitter and Reddit, I think there's no harm in that whatsoever. Try to build your brand, but also realize that if it's starting to affect your mental and affect your performance, that the priority should be to be the best in your job, which sometimes means shutting out the noise and the distractions, and that's oftentimes social media. So
after I made it, I deleted Twitter off my phone. I couldn't.
I know plenty of players that do that. I mean, it's definitely good. I personally eat that shit up though. I love it. Especially after I fuck up. After that Clash team kill. I went to every Reddit thread. I went to every co-stream.
Gosh.
I don't know, man.
Sicko.
I love that shit. But it's funny because I mean the people that talk the most shit are the ones that are the most clueless about how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I watch Mint's co-streams back. And I'm like, this guy's probably got the least harsh reaction of anyone about it. And I think it's in part to your insight, but
he's so polite, man. It's so annoying. I just want him to be mean. When I see dumb shit happening, Kyle's just like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that. And I'm just like, dude, fucking get mad at them. Like, what are you doing?
I went to a few co-streams and they were blaming me. I was
blaming you.
I was like, how's this my fault? I was telling this guy to run away. He's just shooting me in the head.
Yeah.
They don't know that though.
Oh my gosh.
No, the best thing Mike did was the fact that he bounced back. Like that's the thing that young players do not do. They let it get to them and then
to the next round.
That is what I love in a player. The confidence.
The funniest thing was like after that we're literally all like we just all like slapped our head and I was like, Mike, you are a terrorist, and then like we moved on.
Good.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The next round we went to a strat that I fucking loved that I ate up on, and I was like, so I knew I was about to get something. So yeah, that was good. Definitely. I knew I needed a kill there, so I was like, yeah, I gotta get really aggressive because I don't think the confidence would have been killed for me, but like definitely for like my team. but also like building the other team's confidence. If they see like I start shitting the bed, or I think it's important for my team more than anything, to be honest.
Go ahead.
Nope.
You started to talk.
Go. I just want to talk to the Trevmak.
I was going to say, I obviously I don't have any competitive experience, so I often ask these questions. Partially, I know where the answer is going to go, but a lot of times I don't, and I want all four of you to weigh in here. I'm actually going to let the Outlast guys take this first. When you've got a guy on the other team who's just absolutely frying, like you spawn in, you're doing your strats, things are relatively going well, but there's just a guy who's dropped 13 kills in 4 rounds. Does that actually shake your confidence? And does that, in the moment, does that change up your strategies, or do you just continue on with the plan?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes you're just scrimming Ambi and you're getting demo tracked and you just die, and then someone else gets demo tracked and they just die, and it's just like, well, it's Ambi. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, we had a couple rounds like that in Challenger Series. Like, I'll reference one round because it was pretty hilarious what I said after. I don't know. Arc is like, I mean, he'll just randomly have a round where he just kills 4 people and there's really nothing you can do about it. Like, we had a round on Layer where we were playing them on game day for Challenger Series. We run across Mez, and there's 4 people fighting him at once. He just killed all 4 of us with SMG 11 or SMG 12. And I was like, what can you do? Arc clip round, just go next. And we just went next, and then we won the game like 7-3. So those things just happen, Sometimes one of the enemies is just in flow state. I think you just continue with the plan, to be honest.
Personally, I think in scrims you notice it more than because you're kind of just going through it, you're going through your strats and stuff, and you'll see more people doing it. But in the games, I think Ambi dropped a nuke against us, and it didn't even feel like it until I looked I looked after the game and I saw the stat line. I was like, he really had that many kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game day, it doesn't even register that someone. I don't know. I'm not even pressing tab. I don't notice that someone is going crazy.
That's honestly, these are questions that get asked, right? So it's I think getting into the mind of the pro players, because we say a lot of stuff on the broadcast, a lot of it we don't necessarily know it's wrong, but we say it to try and bring up points that a random person like little Timmy watching at home who doesn't know ball at all can kind of latch onto, right? So there are lots of times where, for example, after that team kill, Mike, we're like, oh, his confidence might be shot. I know you from the Spoy Contender Series. I know you're a psychopath. I know you bounce back immediately. But the average audience might not know that and might be like, oh, that's a good point. That's just a little note for us to go on. And then, of course, for the next couple rounds, we always have to say, the scoreline says that they have Shopify Rebellion's ahead, but really, this round should have gone to them. So it's just, we say this stuff for the broadcast, but I think it's really important that when we have an opportunity to talk to the players, we just kind of clear the air and get a real answer to some of these questions that we ask. Because a lot of times when we're casting, and I'm sure if you guys listen back on the cast, you'll probably hear things that Jesse and I will say, and you'll be like, these guys have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Because we're not casting for you, we're casting for an audience that's a lot less experienced. So a lot of pros will listen back and be like, well, these guys are wrong. It's entirely possible that we are objectively wrong, but our goal is to try and give just a little bit of information that's enough for a casual viewer to latch onto without diving too deep into it. So it's good when we have you on here to rely on your experience and ask how you actually go through this, because when you've got 4 smart players as we do right now, you guys are going to be able to tell us when you're actually in the match, are you paying attention to who's going nuclear? Millie says, no, I don't fucking care. I don't even check. I'm focused on myself and that's it. Maybe your approach is different. Maybe Mike's holding tab being like, fuck, Ambi's 4 kills ahead of me. I got to do better. Every team's different.
I think it's if someone's doing going above, performing above, just having a great performance, it means we're doing something wrong. And so my thing is I just try to identify what's allowing that person to do that good. I mean, that's my kind of thing. But I also play a role where I'm allowed to sit there and sit back and not have to take those head-on gunfights. And so I think maybe that might be a little bit different for entry players. I mean, you got to take those fights, and if you're just getting dicked, I mean, I don't know. It might be a different approach. But I just try to think if I'm playing good Siege, this guy shouldn't be able to just get a 3K every round, right?
Yeah.
I think the most
unless he
shocking
pulls
thing,
a miracle of God, but
yeah, I think the most shocking thing, thing you'll notice in a game day is if someone has multiple clutches. That's the thing that I think affects it the most. Like I don't really notice kills that much. It's more like if I'm playing like someone and they have 2 clutches, I'm like, damn, like we just played that like we played that bad or whatever. Like he's hot today. That's more like noticeable in my mind than like them just killing everyone.
I'll say I'm a very like focus forward kind of person, so I'm kind of just like, how do we avoid that again, rather than like I don't.
Yeah, you're solution oriented.
Yeah, like I'm like I mean,
you want to delineate and then you want to consolidate.
Yes,
this is what you want to do.
I got you. Hold up. But no, I think. I understand. I mean, if we were all robots and playing perfect, the game would be completely different. So I mean, I understand we're gonna lose advantages. We're gonna lose rounds we shouldn't. We're also gonna win rounds that we shouldn't. So I mean, I don't think I let it get to me too much.
Okay, but I mean, Trev, I don't mean to interrupt you here. Just a very quick question. If you're being honest for a moment here, if Mike doesn't let it get to him, what about the other 3 of you? Have you had moments when you've been in game where a bad performance from yourself, or you've done something in particular that you know will have a larger, more detrimental effect to you, either you or your team, where you let it get to you and it's knocked you off stride?
I'm sure it definitely has. I think every player, it's definitely happened to it like one point or another. I mean, end of the day in Siege it's not really a game like one round to another. The previous round has absolutely nothing to do with the next round. And it doesn't matter how you lose, the clutch, they get a ninja defuse, right? Like, you either win or you lose. There's no, like, in between. So I don't think it really matters how you lose or how you win.
To your point, you are usually the guy who has to rein your team's mental in, right? How do you do that?
Try to just make a joke, to be honest. That's, like, the easiest way, I think.
So if you saw Millie team killing on your second round ever in pro play, you'd probably just make a joke about it and move on?
Yeah. I will say there's definitely been times like in the past, and this is just like every team, when you kind of know your team's chalked, is like when you make a funny joke and it's just dead silent. And you're just like, well, it's wrapped.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not a good spot to be in.
Yeah.
How do you come back from that? And if that's the case, is it a GG go next? If you're in a best of 1, you don't have another map. Is it just like that's it?
Yeah, it's like a next. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a go next. Yeah. If it's not a whole lot, it's kind of too far gone at that point, I think.
My opinion, that's part of being a good player
before.
Though.
Yeah,
I think it's part of being a good player is you have to realize when your teammate makes that kind of joke, you got to give some sort of reaction. Like, you can't sit there and let it be dead silent. That was big in our SI quals with Envy. That was a big thing. Just like the way people talk, the way you talk has so much importance in team morale and how you end up playing, and especially when you have like really emotional like players, it's really fucking important, and people I think undervalue it. I think people they get it kind of twisted. They think because they're not being negative that they're doing good, but on the regular, those players are being super happy-go-lucky, and then all of a sudden they're just very neutral, and they don't realize that is a negative effect.
I mean, I think that's a great lesson just in general, and it's something that I've talked about on my streams. I've talked about on here, where it's like, it's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. Some people are really, really sensitive to mood shifts, and if something goes wrong, like there are people who will actually react better to outright hostility than like like that wasn't good, instead of like a you fucking idiot kind of deal. And I mean, even this is an area where Mint could potentially pull back the curtain on. Wasn't the whole thing between Nafe and Troy that the way that he spoke to Nafe was the big issue with DZ and the falling out, was that Nafe perceived it to be too harsh with the way that Troy gave him feedback, which is ultimately what caused the row, because Nafe basically said, you can't talk to me like that, which is a very fair thing to say for the record. Doesn't matter the situation. Like, people don't deserve to be like denigrated and talked to that way. And it's like, if you can package that feedback or you can package that criticism in a manner that is more constructive and more polite, you're going to get a better result 9 times out of 10 than if you're just openly combative and rude.
Yeah,
You don't, by the way, that was not an opening for you to like confirm the DZ thing.
I'm not confirming anything. I'm just talking. I'm not confirming or denying at this point. I've already talked about it plenty on my stream, but you know, I it is what it is. But you know, being a leader, I mean, it's good hearing young players talk about this kind of stuff because it's super big for me. Ego wise, being on a top team, basically my entire career, this is the stuff that the top teams are talking about that the bottom teams usually aren't, and usually doesn't trickle down until T1 players maybe get off a team and you get some T1 talent starting to talk about the little things that the top teams are doing. But like, this game really is a mental game at the end of the day. So to hear you guys kind of talking about that stuff is really impressive. I think I said the same thing to JJ when we had him on the show. But no, it's like when you're a leader, you got to know how to talk to people. You got to know who's on your team. Some people like it direct. Some people don't like it direct. Skies was somebody that was very direct. And I know some of you have actually worked with Skies. He worked with some of you guys in the T2. Very fucking smart player. He's a very blunt guy. He wants it direct, right? Like, so you have to know, like, again, who the players are on your team. We've worked with so many outside companies too on DZ, learning something in business, which I think they call it like the positivity sandwich, or something like that. Like if you're going to, or the critique sandwich, where you're going to give a positive, then give a negative, then end with a positive. That is usually a way to comfort somebody that has a little bit of an ego. Check out the book, Ego's the Enemy. Great book. Callout knows. But no, because like in gaming, I also have a theory too, that a lot of these younger guys, you guys can feel free to chime in, probably haven't played sports or been on a team before. So when you're getting critiqued or you're getting coached, sometimes that you've never had that happen before, and it starts to really hurt and it starts to eat at you. We all deal with it in different ways. And I mean, being on a team, again, ultimately, it is a mental game just being on a team with people, because Siege is already hard 5v5. If somebody chalks in the middle of a fucking game, it's a 4v6, a 3v7, right? You're start working for the other team at this point in the game. How do you bounce back? The only way that I've seen teams bounce back is usually you start winning rounds. But you can't always rely on just hopefully you're just winning rounds, right? You got to hopefully be able to knock yourselves out of it. So again, I love that you guys are talking about it, and I can see that in the way that some of you guys play the game. And Trev, we've already talked about this stuff too. Millie, we kicked you way off the team before you learned this.
I think it's been like one of my main issues like throughout my career is just like I've been like, it's been known like I was been very bad about my attitude before, and like recently I think it's gotten a lot better, but I think it's also because I've taken a lot of pressure off, and like my ego isn't, it's still high of course, because you know you have to have an ego, but it's not as fragile as it once was, right? Because I'm not putting as much pressure on it to like for it to succeed. So I think that's like really helped my attitude, and also like having people that like I've always been friends with, you know, to team with, and you know always like they keep me in line if I do start, you know, having a bad moment or two. Like Mike is always either gets on me. Nate I've teamed with for a little while, so he always gets on me. I've known him for a while, so like they always just, if I get out of line, they're like, "Yo, like what are you doing?" Like, and they get me back in check. So.
This was actually a question I had prepared for you. I had 1 to 2 questions prepared for every single one of you here. Some of them have already been kind of answered, so I don't need to outright ask them. But for you, Packer, I mean, again, when we cast, it's not for the players. So there are lots of times where you guys might hear us and think that we're either saying silly things that are wrong, or maybe we're being a little too negative. And that last part is actually something that I think there was a lot of truth to. I'm sure you probably saw around the time of, I think it was the Brazil SI, where there was a huge uproar in the community about how negative all the casters were being about players and teams and stuff like that. And I actually do agree with it. And I've worked really hard, as has Jesse, to be less negative. But I felt quite badly because when I used to cast you way back in the day, you would be a bit of a fiery IGL. You'd be animated, you could tell. And there are times where it would look like you'd get angry. And the moment that you got angry, the team performance would likely cave in. Like that was what we noticed. And we would say this on the broadcast. Now, granted, again, we could be wildly off base. But if we're seeing that on our screens, then we're going to talk about it, whether it's right or wrong. I guess the question to you is, were we right? Would you get tilted mid-match and then the team would just implode as you got angry?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll admit it. Like, I was just being a horrible teammate. Like, and like it's just been a bad habit of mine. Like I would say it stems from console, low key, because that's where it usually stems for most console kids. But that's where I kind of developed, and then I've just kind of kept it ever since. And with the more pressure I put on myself, because it was a dream since I had since I was like 12. Like when I got on these orgs, when I got on these high profile teams, right? And like I want to keep my spot. I want to keep improving. I want us to win every game. When shit doesn't go our way and we start losing, and it's my fault or the teammate's fault, I wouldn't know how to handle it, and I would hold it, and I handle it irresponsibly, and I would take it out in the game instead of just letting it go and then handling it after the game. And like that's one thing I think I'm continuing to work on to this day. I do think it's gotten better. I still don't think I'm perfect. I do think that I still have a lot of room to grow, but I do think that's been my main issue my whole time playing, like since I've like been a T1 level player, and I'm willing to admit that like over and over again.
I saw Mike shaking his head a couple times there and nodding as well. Mike, what's your vantage point there?
It's something I talk a lot about to Packer because I am someone who is so heavily focused on the mental aspect of things because I plateaued in T2 for a while, for like a year. I was like a very mediocre T2 player, and then I pretty much instantly went to being the top of T2. And the reason that changed was because of how I mentally approached the game and how I was as a teammate. And I value that so much, and so I try to emphasize it on my teams. And yeah, no, I don't know. I'm someone who's very, very anxious, very, anxious in real life, and I just value that so much because it translates so much in game. And I think a big thing I look at is what makes people good. And I think you see those attributes from Packer where, he wants to get better. He just shows it wrong in the wrong times. And so, I don't know. I just like her to be able to express those things properly. And I don't know. I just want. I kind of went in a circle there. I don't even know what I was saying.
Really. No. It makes perfect sense.
But I don't know. I think just helping Packer find kind of like the sweet spot, like when he needs to be that kind of stern person, and when not to.
You guys are kids, right? Like, I mean, a lot of you are of legal age to vote and go to war and die and all that jazz, but like, you're still like, ultimately, like you're kids, right? Like you guys, of the four of you, prior to getting into Rainbow Six, have any of you been in a position where you've ever been like a leader? If you were in like Boy Scouts, did you lead like one of the troops? Were you a camp counselor when you were like 14, 15? Like, did any of you have any like type of like leadership where you were like in charge of other people?
No.
I kind of did. I was the captain for my soccer team, but that's when I was like 12, 13.
I mean, I think that still counts. But
yeah.
The thing is like a lot of you don't have any experience in this domain. Like for a lot of you, you're making your debut at a top level. You've never played at a tier 1 level, so that is already hard to navigate. But then if you're in an IGL or you're just in a more experienced position, there are people who are going to look to you. A lot of people don't just like innately have those leadership skills. It needs to be developed. It needs to be learned and shaped, which is why when you look at traditional sports, you have, your coach or your general manager and the people above you are usually like adults, right? They're usually like older. They hopefully have leadership experience, and then they can kind of take you under their wing and mentor you. For a lot of you guys were just really good at a video game. And then some of you maybe are more outspoken than others. You're seen as a natural leader, but you don't have any history or any skills to actually do that. You have to develop it as it goes along. And to Packer's point, like there is so much pressure on his shoulders as a person because he's not just a leader, he's also one of the 5 players. He needs to focus on his own game, but now he's also responsible for the well-being of 4 other people. Like, I don't think anybody can fault any of you, as you're basically just kind of thrown to the wolves. That's why having like a good coach or an adult in the room is so important. So it's like, I think you guys can't be too hard on yourselves here. And I think finding people either in your regular life or in your esports life to help take you under their wing could do wonders for your mental, for how you talk to people. And that's when coaches honestly come in, and guys like Mint and, you know, some of the older guys, like whether they're a good coach or not, at least they're an older person, hopefully with their head screwed on right, that can kind of guide you in the right direction.
I'll say having leaders like that around me, part of it's luck. I mean, just getting on teams with some of those guys is the reason I am the player I am. Like B, I mean, we talked about B. Moses is someone I teamed with in tier 3. He's just a great person and a great leader. His downfall was toggle aim. Unfortunate. And then Geo. Geo's been the biggest one. I love Geo to death. And he has been such a great mentor to me. And yeah, no, I wouldn't be half the player I am without him. But I think that's something that's very like undervalued, is developing players with, you know, people that are like leaders like that. And just older in general. Like Geo helps me, like if I ever have a question about literally anything in life, in game, Geo helps me. Or is willing to help. And he's just such a great leader. Sorry, I love Geo to death. I'm a Geo dick rider for life.
I'd actually say from like personally for me, I would say Mint actually helped me a lot. Just joining Turtle Tactics, and then like obviously I learned a lot about the game through you. But just even like giving me the confidence to be like, oh, like I like thought I knew what I was doing. Turns out I did, and getting that reinforcement. What's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that reinforcement of, oh, I actually know what I'm doing. I am smart. I do understand. And then again, just learning on top of that, I think was very, very helpful for me. Like without a doubt.
W. Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about the mental side all day long, but I also want to talk to Trevmak again. I mean, yeah, first off, W me, but Trevmak, you were Siege's smartest TikToker, according to Fett, our co-host.
Manifested.
Yes. You said I obviously helped you, which is great, but you actually started in Element 1. You've been around a long time. I want to know, were you in IGL the entire time, first off?
So when I first started playing the game, like not like my first team or like second team, but I'd say like the team Swift Uprising. I don't think anyone here would know that besides like maybe Packer. Maybe. I don't know if you even Yeah,
I remember.
I was like the edgy on that team, and then I would say my team like after that, like RN, I actually wasn't the IGL, but I would say like I was like a decent sized voice on the team, like a second voice or even like a third voice at some points. And then towards the end of that team and how it adapted, because I was on that team for about a year, give or take. I then became like more of a voice. It was kind of iffy just on teams. Either I was the voice or I was like a secondary voice, but I've always had like a voice on the team.
Okay. Because after Element 1, you go to Element 2, which is probably the best team of your career up until this point, which was SSGA. You got the chance to work with Callout. Your first chance to work with some like good professional coaches. I think Callout's obviously widely regarded, and we already talked about the mental stuff and things like that. Can you tell me a little bit about your time on SSGA? I think it lasted about like just Element 2, I think it was the run.
It was, yeah, literally just Element 2, and then I got dropped. I would say SSGA was more like strategical in a sense. Mm-hmm. I actually don't think it was super helpful. I definitely think the time on Turtle was like 10 times that. I think we only really met with Callout maybe like 3 or 4 times, because I honestly wasn't on the team for that long.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because the biggest thing is like, because after that time, you said you got dropped for, whatever reason, but then you didn't make the next 2 elements, actually. I'm pretty sure you were in T3 Hell at that point. Like that was, you were in Element 1, Element 2, and I believe you were in T3 Hell until someone named Spider told us to get this guy named Trevmak on the team. Why do you think you were kind of like overlooked or kind of stuck? Like, what led you to being stuck in like T3?
I got the. People would say I was a team hopper, but I actually don't agree with that very much because I was like on one of the longest like T3 teams of like Revenge Nation, and then turned to like WoW or WW, which I was actually the academy team underneath Callout when I was in T3, and he was still in T2. So technically, I followed Callout like twice.
Was that Monkey
in that
Business?
sense? No, it was
Okay.
not Wildcard. Wichita Wolves. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry, it was Wichita Wolves Academy.
That's a name I have not heard in a long
that's
time. Wow.
Yeah. That was we were like. I don't think we were the academy team. We were like the black team or whatever. And then the academy team was like Ambi Ashen team. Because they had 3 rosters, and then their CL team was the Callout team with like Forest and yeah.
Yep.
What's the original question?
Oh, just like why do you think you were kind of like overlooked at that point? Because
honestly,
you were on SSGA.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with like my career, which I would give advice to anyone like starting out now, is try to team with players that are always better than you, because you will just learn the fastest. And then obviously teaming with people better than you, they're good. Like they obviously know what they're doing. I don't think I was always in that position, and I don't really know why. Like people just never really give me tryouts or anything.
That is something I notice in my time in like T3, T2, is it seems to be kind of like a friendship thing, and people will love to just hang out with their friends, whether they're good or not, kind of at that area, instead of maybe more so just getting on a team that they can learn from. And I'm not saying teaming with your friends isn't good. Like if everyone's around the equal skill level and you guys can improve together. Heck, that's what I did with Hot and Cold and Pojo, like way early on. We were just friends. And we just grinded.
You were the original friendship team.
We were. We just grinded our way to pro. But sometimes people are kind of hindered, I feel like, and not actually like getting out of their comfort zone to go to a team that, that could actually improve them. And that was actually your coach, Super Oxy. You got to shout out him for a second, because Super Oxy, he wasn't even going to join you guys. This is his first time in Pro League now, too, as you guys picked him up for CL. He was actually going to stick with his T3 team just because he was friends with them and loyal to them. So that's kind of a crazy story on its own, where he went from T3 to also T1 in 2-3 months or whatever it was for you guys.
Yeah, I had to convince him to leave Geek the Freak. It was actually harder than it should have been, I think.
Yeah, way harder.
We kind of had to do the same with Nesta and Vaughn as well. Like they didn't want to leave their team, and we're like, guys, like, come on. Like,
yeah. So I'm obviously glad I had the chance to work with you, Trev, because I actually thought you were a very impressive IGL that like I barely had to do anything in a sense. Like you just joined the team and you already understood the system that we were trying to run, the traps, everything. You asked questions, but you picked it up extremely quick. So I was always just kind of curious why no one really kind of gave you a chance. But, that's just me being biased. I am curious, though, after Turtle, and then I want to ask Mike a question. But after Turtle, you kind of stopped chasing after the T2 dream in a sense, or the T1 dream, and you went to Daystar and decided to work with some underage players instead, highlighted by Kaysen, of course. Next up, welcome Kaysen to 100 Thieves in about 2 months.
Yeah,
2 months.
Listen, I don't think he's going to 100 Thieves, but
Hey, I mean, Kaysen is without a doubt the future. I can't lie. Hey, teaming with Kaysen is actually... So the reason I actually joined the underage team is because whatever element was going on at that point, I want to say it was element 6. I couldn't even have played the first, like, all of group stage and, like, 1 game of playoffs. So I didn't want to join a team, and then just kind of fuck them over, because I wanted to go see my girlfriend for a week. So I just decided, I'm just going to sit this one out. But I still wanted to play the game, and then there was only one underage team. And then obviously I was kind of curious about Kaysen, like, is he really that good? And then after playing with him, he is, like, without a doubt the most passionate player I've ever played with. And then he's obviously super good on top of that. And it was honestly fun to play with him because he is so passionate. Like, playing with passionate players, it's the best thing in the world. Because they just want it. They're so hungry. Hungry players are the best.
Then Packer said it. Is he going to make the league this stage?
Whenever he decides, I think.
Whenever he decides.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
He's got all the
and I have been telling him he needs to know his worth, because his worth is a lot.
He's gonna get.
Has he really got it lined up like that? Like I don't.
No,
I feel like
okay. He has it lined up because Stompin left, and so now they do not want to let the next one leave. So he will 100% be signed when he turns when by a big org.
Yeah, 100%. I think if they don't, the orgs they're literally trolling.
Yeah. He also has the brand and everything too. Like
That's why. That's why.
That's a big part. Yeah.
And we see it now even with Raid on SSG, right? That we were afraid to even let Raid go. That SSG came out of nowhere and said, we're making a console stack team. I don't care. And it's actually working. I don't know if you guys have been kind of impressed with them. I've been impressed because
I play them.
I played with Raid. I actually enjoyed my time with Raid a lot. He reminded me a lot of Kaysen, but I would say he was definitely more aggressive. Because when we were trying to build like a T2 team, Millie, you were there. We were playing with Raid. I enjoyed it a lot. His comms are very good. He's very aggressive. He understood, I would say, his role. Like he's very good.
Yeah, we've scrimmed him a few times, and like he just like runs around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing with the console players. And I mean, I'm sure Kaysen, him playing in T3, which is really good. I think Fett actually gave him the guidance, I believe, to like, he shouldn't just take a break from the game. He should be playing and grinding in T3. But like the biggest thing for the console players is the fact that they need to learn like just the fundamentals. They can all shoot. All of them. All of them can shoot. And I'm seeing it now with even like Richie on the new turtle. It's just like the fundamentals and stuff that like console doesn't teach you, that you just hopefully Kaysen gets on a team that teaches him and we don't ruin his talent. That's all I'm saying. But Raid, I think, you know, having Dream, the experience right there, I think that's very, very good for him too on us.
I was going to say very quickly, when Packer said he's not going 100 Thieves, I think what Packer was saying was that he's probably going to go to a better team. Is that?
I mean, okay, so like,
You're not replacing that. He would replace Adam. You're not replacing Adam on that team.
My hot take is, well, that's one thing. Another thing is that, I think one of the big orgs that are going to get eliminated, unless it's Wildcard, because I don't think Wildcard will make changes. I think one of the big orgs leave, they're the ones going to be offering cases. So, like, if Shopify loses, like, he goes there, like, because there's going to be changes. Like, there just has to be if one of these big orgs lose.
Yeah.
One more stage.
Yeah.
Do you think teams will hold their rosters until stage 1 is done?
No.
No, you think that if somebody's expectation is to make SLC and they don't, you think they'll just nuke it right then and
Depends on
there?
my roster.
Yeah.
Well, not like maybe like a change. Like, I don't know. Like the only one that I could see not making any changes, no matter how they finish, is Wildcard or like DZ, just because like they're so new rosters, or like the core is like, I don't know. Like Wildcard's changed up how they play completely. You know, with ADM.
Yeah.
So.
Kyle. Kyle, do you want to change? I don't know if you guys know this, but we're cruising. We're at almost an hour and a half already. I don't know if you guys realize that you've been sitting here talking for almost 90 minutes, but these things tend to go by real quick.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush whatsoever to wrap up this episode at all, but I do kind of want to talk about how both of your teams did in Kickoff, and then also kind of ask you questions about how you think the other teams are doing in Kickoff, because you're not just experts on your own teams, you're also experts on your opponents, right? And I think having you guys on to talk about the teams that you have to face in the server is of value. Before we do that, though, Kyle, I know you were rolling with the history and the T2 stuff. I certainly don't want to take it away from that discussion if you still have points to make.
I'm cool talking about the only thing I wanted to talk about was the MikeW curse that he alluded to, but we don't have to.
No, let's talk about that.
All right, let's talk about it, Mike. I just thought it would be kind of funny to talk about it, because if we look at your Wikipedia, all right, you've been playing.
It's a silver carpet.
Hang on, yeah. If we look at your Wikipedia, you've been playing a long time, also, right? Millie was the only one that's like 2024. I think you kind of started. The rest of these guys, Packer, Element 1, Trevmak, Element 1. You've been playing a long time as well. Since Element 1, actually, as well, I believe, right? So you've been around T2. I haven't heard of your name until last year when somebody told me the MikeW curse. And I went, what's the MikeW curse? And then I realized, if you look at your Wikipedia, 2025 Challenger League, second place. Element 5, second place. NSG Philly, second place. SGC Proving Ground, second place. DreamHack Atlanta, second place. So I got to talk about it. Do you think, or did you believe at that time, was the curse actually real? Was it something that affected you? Because you say you're a big mental player.
Not. I mean, I think part of it is like I'm a very, like I said, anxious person. I mean, I've had my issues with like performance anxiety a lot, like with showing up in matches. That was something I had to tackle I've tackled within the last couple of years was that. And I think maybe some of those were. I'm trying to pull it up right now. So I'd say Challenger Series. To this day, I think we're the better team. I'm still pissed at myself for letting JJ into the league. That was a choke from us, right? I think in some of the, I definitely choked in some of those games, but I think a lot of them, like, so DreamHack Atlanta, which is a LAN, that wasn't a choke. Oh, that one gets me pissed off. Oh, okay.
Go off.
Dude.
Now's your time.
Let your rage flow, brother.
I used to be a troll player. When I was first starting comp, for a while, I was a troll player. The biggest thing that made me improve was stopping that. I took every last second of every last round serious. In Atlanta, we were pug stacking. We had two different groups. We knew that we were going to end up playing Akron in the grand final. We ended up playing them. I told the team, I'm like, we need to use. This is a team that scrims and practices all the time. At the time they had just pulled several upsets in Element and T2. I'm like, we need to use these group stage games to actually try to be our best, or try to like get what little practice we can. And people weren't going for it. Shit. I was trying, my turn at IGLing 2 and leading. I've always wanted to do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't rally the troops. We had a lot of unserious folks. And I've let them know that. I've let them know I wasn't happy with that one. But no, the curse. I think the curse was some of the games the teams were just better than us. When we lost Element 5 to Core, they were just simply better. That's why we got 3-0. We didn't get 3-0 because we choked. We got 3-0 because we were shit compared to them. And that's when my falling out with B was. I was like, we simply cannot play the game the way you're trying to have us play. We have to be able to play good Siege 2. So basically that team with B was just, you rushed every round. Every round is a rush. So there's that. But I don't know, I think breaking that curse in Toronto, that felt good. Because it's also the biggest T2 event so far. That $5,000 in the bank account, that was nice.
The Sploit Invitational.
That was a fun event, man. I really liked that event. And you, for the record, Mike, you did great when you jumped on the cast as well.
Yeah, no, I love doing all like the casting and the media stuff and all that. So I liked having a chance to take a spin at it. But no, I don't know. The curse never really got to me. Like when I was in Toronto, yeah, it was like on my mind. Like people kept saying it, but I didn't play like it was on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played pretty good there. I don't know. I think the curse was kind of bullshit. I think it was just an unlucky series of events.
Do you think the biggest thing that helped you though was getting out from Mr. B and getting to Geo, as you kind of pointed out before?
A little bit. I think B definitely had some nerves in those two finals. That was kind of his chance to prove that he could come back, and he was coming back after a break after the Beast Coast ordeal. And I think he had some nerves in those finals, and when your leader's nervous, it trickles down to the whole team. For sure. And I think playing with Geo is someone who's so composed. He's so relaxed. He knows exactly how to handle like the emotion on the team. And kind of just like instill that confidence in everybody. But I wouldn't say it was like necessary. I think I would have gotten over eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you made a big jump. After that, and then obviously getting onto Packers team and learning whatever you're learning on Packers team to cruise through another CL, because Packer never loses in CL. I'm ready to jump over, by the way. But the other thing for Mike is Mike Wobbletop, and your name's not even Mike.
Nope. Real name's not Mike.
Did everyone know that? Because I just found that out. Like I was co-streaming, and someone said your name's not actually even
Wait,
Mike.
what?
Yeah.
No, my Wikipedia is finally updated now. It shows my government name. My name's Gabe. And no, that always throws people for a loop.
That's messed up.
No, I know. But it comes from like my Xbox name was Mike Wazowski basically. And it comes
That's
from that.
real. That is
And
actually
so-
real.
I'm not even joking. When I saw Mike W, the first thing I said to Jesse was like Mike Wazowski?
Yeah.
And
That's
it turns
exactly
out
right.
I was right.
Yeah. I couldn't. So my Xbox username was 15 characters long, and I at the time you couldn't do that on Uplay. I don't know if you can now.
I don't think so. I don't think-
I shortened it to Mike W, and it was more consistent, easier, to kind of brand myself as that than Mike fucking Wazowski, the whole long ass name people can't spell. Yeah, no, not even my name. No, I'm kind of a fraud for that. I know.
Yeah.
I think it works. I mean, hey, Mint teamed with a guy named Adam for a long time.
Yeah, his name was Adam.
Just Adam.
His name is Adam, though.
His name's Adam.
That's true.
Oh, fun fact, Mike Wobbletop. So that one stuck. I'm surprised that one has stuck so much. So that comes from like my brother, his online name is Wobbletop. Like that's his like thing, like he streamed for a while or whatever. That was his name. And he also had a little bit of a SoundCloud stint. And so when we were on Outlast in tier 3, we were all making our names like play kind of play on rappers' names. So we had Little Moses, as in Little Mosey. We had Waka Weston for like Waka Flocka Flame, and then I decided to be Mike Wobbletop in honor of my brother.
The
and
famous rapper,
that one,
Wobbletop.
the famous SoundCloud rapper Wobbletop, and so that one.
I'm Googling
That one's
this.
stuck in people's heads. That I only ever had that in Element 1. I only ever had that name then. So I mean, I think it's. I always find it odd that that one stuck around.
Trevmak, what's your first name?
Trevor.
Case in point.
Is it Trevor?
Case in point. Trevor. If it wasn't,
last
I would have
name-
been so mad right there.
Last name's not Mac though, so
Dang.
It was like Trevor McKenzie. What do I call myself? Trevmak. Okay, great. There we go. Let's move on. But no. This segment here, Jesse will love because I don't know if Jesse reached out to you, but Jesse DMs like every new player and asks for like their government ID and where they're from because he loves to use it on the broadcast. His goal isn't to dox you. It's to just give like a little bit more insight. And I don't think he's ever said any of your real names. So I was like, I don't know if he like contacted any of you because if your real name wasn't Mike W, I feel like that's like the first thing Jesse would mention.
No, when there was the Stars of Tomorrow segment that was running,
Yeah.
it ran on the NA streams for a while. I mean, it talked about that, but it was like very brief and it seemed like kind of like a joke. But like, yeah, no, I don't know. I'm always like so shocked that people are surprised. But I mean, I don't know. I have the previous knowledge of it being Mike Wazowski, and so not a surprising amount of people don't think Mike Wazowski. But I mean, I guess I have the previous knowledge that it is that. So I mean, I don't know.
Mint, do you want to dox anybody else on this show? I noticed when I was pulling info from you guys last night, a lot of you don't have your real names on your Wikipedia or even real photos.
Too new.
So you gotta get that stuff updated.
Oh, man.
Oh, the
I'm
photo
good.
thing, that's like a Wikipedia thing. I don't like Mr. B for the longest time didn't have a photo, but he had like the professional headshot or whatever, I think.
I think you guys, it's Liquipedia. It's the same as Wikipedia, right? Like you should be able to just do it
Context.
yourself.
Yeah.
No, you have to DM one of the editors.
I
think-
don't think I have like I edited some player things on mine, but like it shows like my alternate ID, Mike Wobbletop. Like I edited that, but I don't think I could do the picture.
I had to tell them to like change the picture from like my C9 pic where I was like a fat chud to like me now.
Nice.
You got to get my photos terrible. It's like me being like,
Yeah,
I
like,
had a great photo before, and then they just changed it all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I remember one day somebody's like, did you pick your Liquipedia picture? And I was like, the one from like 7 years ago? They're like, no, the new one. And I looked at it and I was like, who the fuck?
you can ask them to change it back. I think.
I gotta find better photos of myself. I gotta look like I'm not Fat Hagrid, and then
my
hopefully, good photos will come. So
My player photos are always when my hair's like too grown out and I'm just like at my heaviest and it's just bad. I'm like, damn, like I don't know, kind of like I'd rather
It's a
not use the
chut.
picture. Yeah. It didn't
just
come
keep
out
it
in
a
time for the
question
tier
mark.
list though, Packer. Unfortunately, everyone used the C9 picture still. So
Yeah, no.
Cooked.
I do regret to inform you that your C9 photo might be what's used in the thumbnail for this video, but I
Hell
will
yeah.
relay.
yes,
I will relay to our other editor, and our producer obviously is listening right now, so that can be double relayed. That we'll try to find a better photo for you.
It's okay.
Uh,
Listen, I
no, I think
understand.
that's a great
could
photo
use-
actually.
you
I
could
think
use
guys
the
should
C9
use that
pic.
photo.
I was ranked
Speaking
in
of-
C tier of the attractiveness tier list. So
There was an
Dang, but we were
attractiveness
right
tier
next to each
list.
other.
There was.
Yeah.
there was a guy streamed for 2 hours and ranked all the NA players on their
On attractiveness. Yeah.
Was this somebody that we would know, or was this just
No.
a random person?
Some
There was some
Random dude.
random guy with like 40 followers.
And you guys gave him lots of attention, didn't you? You made everything
Yep.
he did worthwhile.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who was the
There was some
hottest?
interesting. There's some like. I think there was like. It's like Ashen Fold is through Ashen Folds J9. I think were the 3.
Mhm.
Is he just like an
W.
SSG fan, or like?
I mean,
Seemed like it.
Yeah.
objectively, they're
Yeah, they're good looking.
yeah.
Objectively, you have to. Okay, we could talk about this all day long, but I totally forgot. By the way, I totally forgot. We have Packer, and like I really do want to talk kickoff here. I really do, but
Yeah.
I'm also dying to know. We just had a Packer versus JJ beef off in one of your. You literally was what yesterday?
Yeah.
Was literally yesterday. Why was it a beef off? Can you explain for the people? You were literally just on Envy. You also gave up IGLing and you wanted to play with an IGL, which I want to talk about that too for a second if you don't mind. But why were you only on Envy for a short time? Why were there roster changes? Why did you have to battle through CL?
So first off, the IGLing thing, it's come from T9 and Millie. I'm just terrible in that role. Like I'm not ready for it at all. I just suck at it. To keep it frank,
He gets more angry when he
I
IGLs.
get
That's the
way
big
more
thing.
angry, and my attitude affects everything. So I just know that like if I'm like the co IGL, like I put way less stress on my plate, or like co caller. So I just stopped doing that completely because of that. And I remember like when I was teaming with other IGLs, like I just played better, like simply, and like I could do my role better, and everything was just better. So and then then going to the JJ point, when we joined JJ, me and Mike at the same time. I joined because Mike got the opportunity first. Mike vouched for me. I joined, right?
It was originally Hat. Hat was originally there. So Hat replaced Packer, and then Hat was on this
NV
the Envy build, but my condition to join was Hat not be there, and so we got Packer.
Yeah.
That was this before the Spoit thing? Because I remember one of the first things I heard at the Spoit event was like, there's a bunch of people that are playing. I think was it Focal and you were I think the two main ones that were playing on that Freaky Frogs team where it was like they're going to go to a pro team.
It was Rival on the ALX team, and then Mike on the Freaky Frogs.
I couldn't remember who it was. There's too many names swimming through my head. But I basically was told like, yeah, Mike's going to go to Envy afterwards and play with JJ, and I was like, okay.
I initially declined the offer, but what you call it? Ivan sweet talked me back into it, so yeah.
So going back to what I was saying, we were on the team. We played. Things didn't go our way. You know, shit just happens in esports. You know, we didn't win against C9. We lost both times, whatever. And then afterwards, we kind of took a break because, like I said, there's really no point in scrimming because we're just scrimming to scrim. None of us we're not under an org anymore. We don't know what's going to happen. We're all going to be free agents. We could go to different teams, whatever. And I just didn't really think, every time we scrimmed, I don't think it was productive. So I just didn't want to scrim in the off season when we're just going to be scrimming to scrim with no real reason to improve or there's not going to be set goals every single day on how to improve. So we're just going to be scrimming, wasting our time, jobless. But like a week after the break, we come back, we scrim like once or twice. were trying out like Fens at the time and like whatever. And then JJ calls me up one day and wants to try out Snake. Me and Mike not really going for it because I've heard bad things. Mike's heard bad things. Mike's team with him, and it was bad experience. So we weren't really going for it. And then we kept trying out different people, whatever. And then, like 3 days later, I get a call from JJ again saying, he wants to pick up, no matter what, he wants to pick up Snake, like no questions asked. And he also wants Fens, so he wants to drop Mike. I tell him like, you have to give me a night to think about it, whatever. And like my mind was already kind of made up because I was like, I'm friends with Mike, and me and Mike were our highest performing players, and I didn't think me or Mike were the issue at the time. Like, so the next day I basically said like, it's either me and Mike are on the team or I'm gone. Like, I'm not playing without Mike because I think Mike's our best player. If I'm out of the picture, it's like out of the 4 players, I think Mike's our best player. So I'm not leaving without Mike. So JJ doesn't say anything to me. And then I think they do tryouts the next 2 days or that day and the next day without even communicating. And then I get a call or I get a text from the coach and whoever saying like, oh, we're dropped. Or like I got dropped, and then the next day or in like within the next few minutes, Mike got dropped. So we both just got dropped instantly. And honestly, like we weren't really mad. Like it was just kind of unfortunate because we then had to play. I had to form a team within like seconds. So basically we formed the team that day. I instantly text Bino because I teamed with Bino and I thought Bino's team was terrible, so I could easily poach him. and then I had to convince Nate, like, because I teamed with him on SOS and he was still with the aerial core, and like it took me like 2 hours to convince this guy, even though like I win every single time. I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, I made that team, I created that team. We just smoked you in scrims. Like, you should just come join us. Like, and it took me like 2 hours. I convinced him. His mom actually, he like brought up to his mom like the pros and cons, and like he brought up to his mom that like I always win, and his mom was like, "Well, they always lose eventually." Like, I'm like, his mom was like selling it. So luckily we did that, and then Bino heavily vouched for Silo, and I was playing ranked with Silo for a long time. So then we formed that team. Maybe the most stressful call like ever. We almost lost to some team on
You're
Night Haven. One round away. We were down like 4-6 like on the last qualifier, and we needed to like place top 2 or top 4 on that qual. I don't remember. And we were in like semi or quarters.
Because all that roster stuff happened the week between the first and second qual.
Yeah.
Or it's the first 2 and last 2 quals. So we only got half the quals to play.
So we did that, and we just so we somehow came back and won. And luckily, like, it's just been ever since. That's how the team formed, and we've been just kind of going from there.
I have a question.
Ooh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, if you guys did make CL, who do you think the other team would have been that made the NAL?
If we didn't make CL?
Like,
yeah.
if we,
yeah.
Do
you think it still would have been like that Ivan team?
Cruelty?
Maybe. I mean, maybe Ariel. Maybe Ariel, because they would have had Nate. No?
Oh, true.
Well, no. He's saying if we didn't qualify.
Yeah, because Nate wouldn't have been able to get in the aerial team.
Yeah.
I
think it would have been Valhalla or the Latin team.
I think the time
they came down to a 8-7 map.
Once Valhalla lost, I think their confidence was kind of shot. So.
Yeah.
Do you?
Who was on the Valhalla team again?
It's like Asian Rice, Epic.
Yeah.
Alex.
Okay. Yeah.
I could see Rice being back.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you drop him?
Yes, I did. Do you ever? Speaking of getting dropped, do you ever like actually feel the beef, Packer? Like between M80, between Cloud9, between JJ, like. Is it actually beef when you're going against him? Do you feel like some type of like, hatred when you're playing them, that you want to smoke them, prove them wrong?
Okay, so just being honest, M80, I have no ill will because like I've just played like absolute dog shit. Like I can't even feel bad for, like I got dropped for hot and cold. Like what? Like how can I even feel bad? Like it's like we won the major with that core, got top 4 at that invite. I played literally the worst ever. Like I couldn't even hold it against them.
Lost a keg shitter.
Yeah, like I'm like that's not what M80 does. Like we played horrible. Like I can't. C9. Yeah, like I mean, I think Vivid's a terrible fucking coach. Like I will stand on that. Like I don't think he does his job. Like he might be like number one. Like no, like I can't. But like I will say C9. I think Giddy kind of had some ill will towards me, and honestly I don't really blame him. Like I think on that team I was a very bad teammate towards him. And like I'll completely say like that's between me and him to figure out. But I have no ill will towards them. Like maybe Giddy has some ill will towards me because of that. But and then JJ, not really. I just think he's a dumbass. So like it's just like I want to beat them obviously because like I chose this over them.
Yeah.
So like I want to beat them. But
you got dropped before you could leave. You got fired before you could leave. You could quit.
Okay, but I told. Listen, I could have left you on the chopping block, buddy. I chose you.
You could have. They didn't. They ultimately didn't give you the decision.
No, I got the decision. I gave them my decision. That was the decision.
No. You gave them the ultimatum, but they didn't say, "Okay, well, we're dropping Mike," and then you're like. Because I mean, at that point, it's different. It's like, okay,
no,
well,
I
shit,
still would have chose you. I still would have. They literally said it multiple times.
I know.
Well, I think that sets up still a great storyline, knowing that you guys play SSG, and then if you win, it's you versus JJ, not for a spot in Pro League. It's for a spot at Salt Lake City.
That's crazy.
Which is a fucking fever dream.
Listen, I mean, I've already done this once. Like, I've already qualified as an Orgless team to make a major, so like, it's I could do it again.
It is what it is. Yeah,
You had a cheater that time though, but yeah,
that is true.
Oh.
I mean, talking about Kickoff then, if we want to talk about Kickoff,
I think it's a good time
for everybody, I guess. How did you guys feel about? I mean, I guess the format, right? We got rid of Reload last year. Now it's you guys played, I think, in like 3 weeks' time, basically 2 weeks, I think. Just best of ones, 4 games, kind of like SI groups. Do we kind of enjoy this kind of like fast-paced siege? Do we think it was kind of limiting?
I think
it was fun, but it just sucked for the Challenger Series teams because, like I said, we had no time to prepare. But other than that, it was fun. On to you, Mike. Sorry. Interrupted you.
I'm a big believer of best of ones don't like people saying best of threes are the real whatever. I think that's such a bullshit cop out. I always hate that. I'm like, you got to play no matter what. You got to play the format. Like you got to play best of ones. You have to win your best of ones to play your best of threes in most formats. I think it's bullshit cop out to be like, oh, it's just best of ones. I don't know. But I mean, I like term. I like going quick, and I mean, maybe I like the best of one and sit here and cheese people the whole time because whatever.
We said this on the very last. I think it was the very last episode, was it? Where it was like best of ones. It's a coin toss as to whether the better team actually wins. Best of threes, the better team usually wins. Best of fives, for the most part, the best team is going to win. I think there's always trade-offs with it, right? Like best of ones are a really easy investment for viewers. Like every team I guess in this format, 8 of the 10 teams played, but usually like every team plays. If you're a fan of, a team that you're going to see them, like they're quick, they're fast. There's a lot of explosive potential. Like usually it's a pretty decent map. Like it's still exciting, but it's not always the most balanced. But again, that's from a viewership and casting perspective. I think your perspective as players is obviously going to be very different from ours, or maybe not. But
I think the format for like the kickoff event is honestly kind of perfect for like a kickoff event, if that makes sense. Because you're in 2 groups. You basically like if you win 1 game, you kind of make it out of your group, right? Like we said. Mm-hmm. And then like 8 teams make the playoffs. Like you still only have to win 2 games to make them. No matter where you start, right? If you win 2 games, you make the major. So I honestly think it's like for a kickoff event, like you really have no excuses to like if you're a top team, if you're a lower end team, like you can't really blame the system because you have the opportunity no matter what. And like it's not really like it's really just for more experience for like especially like the younger teams.
So I had someone ask me this because it's a kickoff event. Teams are taking this the same as a major, right? The same seriousness, the same everything. It's not silly to say because it's a kickoff event that some teams.
It's a fancy. I mean, it's another stage. Like you're qualifying to a major.
Yeah,
like, it's another stage. They just, I don't know. They won't say it. I don't know. Circuit
it is kind of
notoriously great.
You're still trying your hardest. Like you want to like. Yeah. If someone wins Salt Lake, like they won Salt Lake, it's not like you're gonna say like
it's not like Shopify is not trying right now. Oh, they're saving strats for stage 1. No, that's not a thing. Like everyone's trying their hardest to make the major. Everyone wants to make the major. So
yeah, no, I agree, and I thought that was just, but I think it's just like the formatting because it's kind of new this year. Why they're calling it kickoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the Outlast guys, then how was your experience with this kickoff? Millie, you already said you guys had like what 2 weeks of practice. Was that a big wake-up call, T2 to T1? Did you immediately you made pro league, so you're just screaming T1 teams, or like walk me through up to kickoff and how your results have been going?
Yeah, like we were scrimming. To be honest, we were scrimming very few T1 teams in general, just because we were kind of a new team, and no one expected us to play super well, and like we weren't established T2 team, obviously, or T2 players besides Trevor. So like we were scrimming T3 teams and like lower end tier 2 teams, some low end T1 teams. And then we made it, and immediately like DMs flooded of everyone like, hey, send me your LFS dates. You're not in our group. So I'm like scheduling scrims with Shopify and M80 and all these other teams. And we started getting shit on, to say the least. So it was like kind of a wake up call, like, whoa, okay, this is different. And going into the games, I think that definitely showed. I think we started getting the hang of it, and then on game days, we just didn't perform to what we could have. I'm not going to say we would have beat some of these teams, or we should have beat some of these teams, but if we were playing to our best, it would have been a lot closer. It would have been more than 6 rounds in 4 games. We definitely didn't show up, and I think in this 2 months that we have now, we can make a lot more progress, hopefully. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Trev, if you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, our first week of scrims were like I think since we've made it, I think we've scrimmed like 1 T2 team. Other than that, it's been all pro teams. But our first week was really rough because I think before that, when we were in CL, we only scrimmed 1 pro league team to my knowledge, and it was like wildcard went like 6-6. And I actually think that boosted our confidence during the Challenger series because we're like, okay, like that was after their invite performance as well. I think they just picked up Adrian then, and we're like, okay, we are like really good. Like we can win CL. Which was good, but then, yeah, we made the NAL. First week of scrims was really bad. It was really rough, and then the last week wasn't bad. The week after that, I think the biggest thing, that's very different from like T3, because on my team, 3 of our players have never played T2 other than this Challenger series, and then Millie only played 1 other stage before that, and he beat like Valen. So he has like very little T2 experience as well. So we are quite literally, and then me as well. I've never been in pro league. I've only played T2. We're pretty much 5 brand new players that came from the way I've been describing it to like my parents and just people who don't know like games is we are a high school team that made it professional and we skipped college. It's like pretty much how it's been. So it's we need an adjustment period, which I definitely think is what happened during kickoff.
Do you think, because you're saying the adjustment period, these other teams that have a lot of newer players, Packer's been in T1 though, so like even if Mike or someone else hasn't played professionally, Packer's played professionally. There's coaches that have played professionally on like JJ's team. JJ's obviously played pro, and even if he has rookies, again, he's played pro. You have nobody on your team that's ever been in T1. Coaches, staff, players. Do you think that hurts you? Like, and I guess you're kind of learning that, but like, how are you guys going to take the next step up then in stage for stage 1 then?
So, I mean, since we've been a team, we haven't taken a break. We've had like maybe like 4 total off days since actually forming as a team and going through CL, I would say, Millie, about.
Yeah, around
we've been a
like
team for about maybe 2 months.
Right at 2 months.
So yeah, like right now we're just gonna take a break because we just haven't had a break in like 2 weeks or 2
like
months.
I think the burnout is kind of getting to us. Like the double strimming, the VOD review, the theory crafting, everything leading up, then winning CL, and then after that, obviously, we're hitting it hard, double strimming pro teams and VOD reviewing a little bit, getting absolutely dog walked in scrims, and then getting dog walked in kickoff. Like, it's definitely taken a toll. So I think a little bit of a break will help us cool off, stand back up and start grinding again.
I want to dig into it a little bit if you guys don't mind. As far as like strategics, then, do you think it's a big difference from how you guys were playing in T2? And do you think you need to kind of change your theory going into T1? Because again, from the outside watching, talking to some pro players, you guys had one of the best attacking teams in T2, but in T1, you guys are near the bottom of the list, and your defensive win rate, I believe, is like less than 20%.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like taking this break and like readjusting maybe how you guys want to play the game? Because it seems like you guys are kind of predictable.
Yeah, so I mean, we have our off season kind of like planned out already. So one thing that actually, like, going into Challenger League is like we never actually officially won over strats, and I definitely think it wasn't an issue then because we were playing more fluid. I'm not saying that we don't play fluid now, but I definitely think it was more like on the fly because we didn't have any practice to even like play the strats. It was kind of just like on paper, and then it was like the what's the word for it? The cookie cutter. Like, in a sense, you can switch out your ops. It's pretty much just like spots, ghost pressure, whatever. Same for like defense, like getting walls. We never actually sat down and went over kind of like the how and why we are doing something in these more like complex strats. And I think it leads to a lot of confusion within the players because like I made most of them. Not all of them, but I've made most of them. So I know like why and the how we're supposed to do something. But I think there was confusion within the players of like, why am I doing what I'm doing here? Or what should I be doing? Right. So during the off season, we're completely like wiping the scrapbook, and then we're gonna go over like theory, kind of talk about as a team what we're gonna do to like today or tomorrow, to be honest. Like theory of how everyone's input of how they think the game should be played and how they view the game. That way we can try to identify like our play style and our identity, because I think we are lacking that at the moment. And then coming up with like efficient practice schedule. I don't think what we were doing previously was bad, but I think we can improve it. Yeah. So we're hoping to go through that and then, see how that goes.
I do like to see that you guys are like using the kickoff kind of as, well, you're kind of welcome to the league moment in a sense. You guys kind of got bullied. I mentioned it probably offline, but you guys won 6 rounds total in Pro League, which is probably up there for an NA record, maybe worse than Cruelty. I don't even know. We'll keep going into it. I'm trying to motivate you guys. But the fact that you're actually going to you're going to take a moment, step back, reevaluate things. You do have a long rest of the year. I know you guys said you weren't going to be making any roster moves. We'll see if you stick through it. JJ said the same thing. We'll see. But
by twist, right? Yeah.
Once you start getting to the end of the year, people want to stay in Pro League and that whole thing. Millie, I want to, again, I'm throwing shots right now. Millie, I want to talk to you for a second. I want to know, like, overall, besides the team, how you're feeling going into or playing in your first like T1, because you came in as like a very anticipated heavy fragger. We already talked how vouched you were, but you were also cracked, I think, literally in all your T2 games, dropping double digits, basically every single game. And in Pro League, you have in 4 games, 12 kills total, which I would normally see you have that in one match.
Beautiful.
4 in control. You are the worst rated player in NAL at a 0.51. I'm just going to keep hitting you. 12 and 32, negative 20, 4 and 6 on the entry.
Great.
How different is this for you? Is this, I hopefully you're not, but are you checking CGG? Are you looking at these stats?
No,
How are you
I have
feeling?
not looked at that once, so that's all news to me. But I kind of figured, right?
Jesus, Kyle.
Sorry.
So I think things that were working. Well, first off, I want to start not to blame my team for my bad performance, because that's definitely not it, right? But I'm lurking a lot, and when the main push like isn't working, I'm just worthless on the backstab. Like if Trev and 3 others are pushing one spot and I'm supposed to backstab and they all die, I'm just dead too, right? And I can't really get anything done. So I think that's like plays a little bit into it, and also stuff that was working in tier 2 or like against the shitty teams that were in tier 2 is just not working now. So I kind of have to look and reevaluate what I'm doing individually as well. And I think a lot of what I should be doing is VOD reviewing with coaches or staff and sitting down and seeing mistakes I'm making, because there's definitely mistakes that I'm making now that weren't getting capitalized on in like lower tiers by lower teams. I think nerves play into it a little bit. I wasn't literally shaking or getting super nervous before my games for kickoff or anything. But there's no doubt that I was questioning, is this correct play, or overthinking, blah, blah, blah. So I've definitely got to do some self-evaluation, because I'm not playing that bad in scrims. I know that for sure.
Scrim
I'm
GG's
definitely
looking
playing
good.
better. Yeah, Scrim GG looking decent, right? But even when we're getting shit on, like typically I'm doing decently. So I think I am overthinking when it comes to game day, and I've kind of already sat down and thought about that outside of the server. Like, I need to reevaluate what's happening.
Okay, definitely another welcome to the league moment. I feel like playing a fragger, especially, is it ever in your head? Now you're in a lobby with like, you're going against Ambi. You're going against Gavin.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that like in your mind as a newer player?
Somewhat. Yeah, like I'm not getting roam cleared by like T3 shitters anymore. Yeah, Nazapeth. That's the example I use all the time just to troll, because I don't know why Nazapeth gets clowned on. I love Nazapeth. He's actually, and his team is good practice to scrim against. First off, I'll say that. Like, even scrimming them, like in
no beef.
They were good practice. No beef. But I'm like, I'm not getting roam cleared by Nazapeth team anymore, right? I'm getting roam cleared by fucking Ambi. Like, he's tracking me on Deimos, tracking me down. So what was the question again? Sorry.
Just like if that's kind of in your mind as a T1 player, because
yeah.
you said like joining to the pro league never hit you, but like you're now in a lobby with people I'm assuming you kind of grew up watching.
Oh yeah. So on console, like right before I switched to PC, it was like a year before I switched to PC, I started watching Pro League, and I had no clue how any of it worked. I had no clue how you went to Pro League or anything, and then I ended up switching, and I still had no idea. I literally thought you like played ranked and went to Pro League or something, like you got noticed and ranked. But then when I actually started playing competitively, I was like, okay, there's like steps to doing it, and it's kind of crazy. Like, after our first game, I open up Twitter and it's like, Bay crazy clip against, like in their game, and it's like against me. I'm like, oh shit! Like, I'm like the clips I used to open to be like, wow, that's a crazy clip. Like that shit's against me now. So I'm literally playing against people that I used to watch and look up to. So yeah, I think that is in my head a little bit. And I got to get that out, because at the end of the day, we're here. And I think we deserve to be here, and to show that I can't have in my head that these people are my idols, right? I need them to show me that, they're good, because I'm here as well.
This is something that we've talked about before on the cast. When you've got guys like he's a good friend of mine, and I don't think he watches the show, so I'm not too upset if he hears this and he gets upset with me. But it's like another good friend of Kyle's as well. Like, Jarvis was a solid average player for most of the tail end of his career. And he would basically go from like playing in the NAL down to like T2 and then would come back. Every time he went down to T2, he was like top 3 rated player in the league. Mm-hmm. And every time he'd come to the NAL, even if he was on the same role, he'd be in like the bottom third. Right? And it's to your point, like a lot of the competition you're going to play in T2 they're not pros. They're not guys that can stand the test. Like that's why a lot of them are down there, and some of them are down there because they just don't care. A lot of them are just like T3 guys that just want to have fun. Like I remember the days when like Suzaku created a fucking Challenger League team, and it's just like, and they ended up being like the 8th team to qualify, and they were terrible, but like they were just having fun, and that's all they cared about. So it's like you can run up the numbers against them, but as you pointed out, like you now need to square off against guys like Ambi and Gavin and shit like that. And it's like, it's a lot harder, man. And it's not saying that you won't have the ability to do so, because I think if you can thrive in T2, there's a pretty high likelihood you'll be able to hold your own in T1. Whether you can become an Ambi or whether you can become that, like, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking in general. Whether somebody, I suppose the language I should use, whether somebody can be like a superstar in T2 and then come up to T1 and become their own Ambi, that's a question that needs to be answered by them and their team and their potential. But it's like, I know that it's gruesome to hear all those things that Mint said, and to be honest, like I didn't even know those numbers, so that's what
I'm here for.
Yeah, that's what he's here for. But it's like, you're new. You've played what? You've played 4 maps in Tier 1.
Yep.
I think what Ubisoft wanted, which goes back to what kind of like Mike was talking about, was that like the format of Kickoff, is I think it's supposed to be a real pressure cooker. You need to play like under the proverbial gun. I think that's what they wanted. And I think it's resulted in some very intriguing matchups. SAL's going on right now, by the way. The first 3 of their best of 1 states, their final group stage today, the first 3 matchups were all 7-0s. So like it's working. Like you're getting a spectacle here. But it's like, if anybody's trying to judge you off of 4 maps, including like yourself, I think it's foolish. Like you've played pro for maybe 2 hours at this point. That's nowhere near enough for you to know your worth. And, you know, when the stage comes around and you actually can settle into a groove and, you know, as Trev said, you're going to take some time to actually like kind of take in the moment and maybe settle things down and relax a little bit, then you can find yourself and find your footing and, you know, see those numbers tick upwards.
Yeah.
See, Min has to be the bad cop for me to be the good cop. That's how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been talking to Outlast an awful lot here. I want to talk about
Yes.
1 of 30. First and foremost, how'd you end up with your fucking name? I mean, obviously we know that you couldn't call yourself Foot Locker's finest, but like, did they give you an option to name?
No, we just like we couldn't figure out a name, so we just said like we're the one team out of the 3 big regions that have an org, so we just said 1 of 30.
I mean,
That makes sense.
that is honestly what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that it was correct.
Yeah.
How's it been for you? How's it been adjusting? I mean, obviously you talked about the changes in the offseason that you all kind of underwent, and you haven't exactly had the easiest entry point either. Obviously a different story than Outlast, but you guys are in the playoffs. You've had you've had some good looks. There is a very high likelihood that you could have easily beaten the Rebellion in the very first play day, which would have changed the calculus here. Not saying why you didn't. I'm not getting into that conversation again, but like, how are you? How's the feeling on your team?
So from my point of view, our goal was to just be competitive with everyone because like we obviously like we have high expectations. We all think we could beat everyone, but we're obviously a very new team. But I think the group stage we showed some promise, and then we also showed some big issues. The big issues that like we kind of determined are there's some specific issues on some maps like we have some issues with like win cons, IDing like what to do as a team, and that's like that comes from either composure or the stress like in the actual games that we need to actually be like problem solving as a team, and like that's gonna come with more experience, and like that's what we're gonna be focusing on. Like this week's of scrims, like we couldn't win a layer defense against JJ. Like when we're bringing win con ops, like we should be able to stop these.
Well, we had them in the palm of our
executes.
hand. We did stop some of the execute.
Yeah, we just didn't play like well by like
The person
because
who invented
we didn't play together as a team, and that's something that we have to fix going forward, and like be on the same page and make sure that we're consistently communicating while being composed, right? I also think I think Nate's had a bad group stage. He played really good in Challenger Series, and then I think because it's his first stage, and again, it's always been his dream, and he's put a lot of pressure on himself. I've personally reached out to him, and I've constantly been giving him confidence because I think Nate, buy the stocks now. That kid is gonna be great. Nate 38 will be great. Like he is so good. You have to buy the stocks now. Like he will be that guy. He will be one of those star entries. He just needs to be decisive. That is his problem right now. He is second guessing himself, and he is lacking. He is like putting all the pressure on himself, so he is being indecisive. Like when he is decisive, like I've seen him be in scrims sometimes, like before we like, and like he will be. That kid will be fucking generational.
Yeah, he had number 2 clip of the year last year against Stompin. Like
yeah. So like I think he'll be really good, and I believe in playoffs he'll turn up. So like I have all the confidence. We are going into this week kind of like what like Trev said, like we kind of ID'd a lot of our issues through this group stage. But like we only have like 9-ish days to fix it. So starting tomorrow, like we're going into we're VOD reviewing and we're gonna go over a bunch of stuff and fix an ID the big issues that we're having on these maps. Talk about how we can fix them and do it over the next few days so that we can be our best self for playoffs because we squeaked into the upper bracket. We really we could have been in a way better spot. We were in the JJ game, right? We were in the SR game and the M80 game, not really, but we just didn't really play the greatest, and there's issues that we saw from that game, right? So we're just
shit on us.
They really just shit on us, but we can we know we can beat these teams, right? So we just have to really we're focusing on our issues this week so that we can better our map pool and make sure that we're coming out as our best selves for playoffs because we believe we can make Salt Lake. We just have to do that.
That's what I like to hear. Kyle, anything he said that you want to add on to or you agree or disagree with?
I agree and disagree with everything. I mean, yeah, the M80 game was a disaster. Other than that, I think you guys have been very, very fucking competitive. Just need to, see it in the map pool when we get to best of threes. And if anything, and hopefully this isn't an offense to me saying this or an offense to anybody, but I think you got a real good opportunity at Salt Lake. I feel like the upper bracket might be looking, I don't want to say free, but pretty juicy. That's the kind of teams you want to be going against. SSG, who's also figuring their shit out, brand new team, and then JJ, who's a beef match. And you guys said right there, you should have been able to beat JJ, right? You feel very confident against 5 Fears. So looking forward to kind of watching that. I'm kind of curious your thoughts on, if we don't mind, maybe some of the teams in the NAL, if we don't mind giving some opinions.
This is we'll let all four of you can 100%. Jump in here if you want.
In our
100%.
Group or
in general? Well, this is your floor.
In general, I mean, I'm really curious about 100 Thieves. First off,
those guys, I think, have just taken it a little too far in some ways of their attacking. I think they've really bought into the cheese and but I think they've kind of bagged it. I don't really see them doing many defaults. The 2 times they've played border, they kind of just did the same attacks, both maps or both times, and it was just cheese archives, then cheese armory, walk armory. They never really took east control, with fundamentally opening up the password wall, then nading. They have their bag, and their bag is decent on attack, and then they kind of if that doesn't work, they have nothing else. They don't have the deep fundamentals of attacking. And I think their defenses are just the bad traits of OXG. It's just a bunch of peeking, running at you. We attacked Workshop twice, and they did it in their new game too, where they literally M80 just QB sneaked the bomb. We just QB sneak because they have no info site, they have no one playing the site.
I love that you call it QB sneak.
Yeah,
that's so good.
That's
that is
CL
so good.
That's a CL for L terminology.
That's incredible. You will hear that on a cast very soon.
Yeah, so when we just sneak the bomb into site, we just sneak the bomb both rounds in the site. MIDI did the same thing, and they just kind of were clueless because they just didn't have anything to ID it. So I think that's been their big issue. Also, they're they don't really seem happy when they're playing because they don't really have.
Mint talked about that. You talked about that on your stream. I mean, your personal experience with a lot of those players. You don't see any of them as being a vibe guy. I can totally see that. I also think we gotta take some of them out back, man, and we gotta put them down. It's their time, man.
Mike's not a big.
This is what I wanted to hear.
Mike's not a big fan of some players.
Let's hear it.
Listen, Gomez and Yog are my sons. I've always shit on those guys when I've played them. Now listen, I don't want to get it twisted. Big fans. I watched these guys. I watched Charlotte Major was the first pro league I really watched, and I was a fan of Xset. But we got to hang up the cleats. Gomez and Yog, bro. I'm sorry, guys. We got to hang up the cleats, bro, or something. Something's got to change big time. I don't know, man. Adam's a beast.
Adam's a goat. I love Adam.
Yeah.
I know you don't have the greatest experience with the he said he can't lurk or whatever. But
No, I love Adam. Just that one
but-
moment. Adam's
yeah, I know,
amazing.
but he's very like I think he's very good. I just think he's been given like a short end of the stick a lot of the times, like people, because this team doesn't perform and like he's not gonna do the greatest in some playoffs if like your team just gets shit on, right? And they always blame him because he was the highest rated at some point or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think he's like save Adam, like that guy's the GOAT. Like,
Yes.
Spirits is also very good, obviously, like, and then like. They just have to figure out what they want to do because I don't know. They're in like the mud right now. When they're playing, they just kind of seem like they're in the mud.
I feel like Spirits is almost like starting to build that reputation that Hodden had, where he has like that good stage, and then kind of like tapers off. I don't know. Maybe that's like a bit. That might be a little too like specific to, I guess, like the DZ like having that good start, but I don't know. I think he's he's obviously a world class player. I think there might need to be like a big change. I don't know.
I think
Packer hit on the head. What you said is literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Their defense is they just literally run at you and they just create gaps, and they don't know how to play any other like way. It seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
At least just like scrimming them.
Yeah, oh my god, scrimming them is so much fun.
Playing them like they couldn't even shoot back. I had like 4 entry kills on them. I'm like, how like I don't know, man. I'm just like we
when
don't
you
got,
say
like,
it's fun to scrim them. Why is that?
Because they're just running around like, and they just like playing like high press siege, and like it works in scrims a lot of the time because people are practicing their strats, and like doing it defaulty, but then like in games a lot of time, especially when you're playing 100 Thieves, like that's how they play. So you have a game plan going into it to like play gappy and like do this stuff. And because they don't have like these backline stuff to like rely on, like Valcam and info inside, like something to tell them that like teams are planning, like whatever, they just bad stuff happens all the time. Like someone will get shot in the back, bomb will go down, they have no idea. Like happens all the time to them, right? If you watch their games.
You're referring to the layer round too, where they just like over rotate way too much to get pulled. And JJ rival just walks in sight.
I mean, same thing happened to us. Like me and Mike were like just like doing random stuff like outside archives, and they all started going towards. Before. Yeah, like we've never even done this before, but we just did it because we were like, oh, we're gonna pull them. And I just started grim beat. I've never grim beat archives in my life on border, and I just started grim beating it, and they all rotated towards archives, and Bino just walks into vents and plants the bomb. Like,
yeah, definitely disappointing because the 2 unwanted players, Spirits and Adam. I love Adam as well. I actually was kind of surprised they put him on the support role because I thought it was going to be like a Pamba and Adam show. On the entry, because I mean Adam could do either. I always thought he could do either. Definitely disappointing. Again, maybe welcome Kaysen, but I agree with you. I think they probably need some more changes as well. It seems like too much like OXG, maybe because the coach is from OXG as well. But it doesn't really seem to fit what they're going for.
I just think they've bought into like the DZ stage 1. Like where they were just playing nonstop cheese, but the meta has kind of moved past that. It's more like gap heavy and like
info.
You have to have info. You have to have like your fundamental take, and then you can like spread off of it if that makes sense. And
I think we're at the point in meta where that's kind of been solved, right?
Yeah.
So you it has to be a mix. I mean, you can't just one trick it.
Like everyone knows how to play against that now. Like,
yeah,
because like even T2 teams know how to play against it. So, well, to the most part, good T2 teams. Well,
I mean that leads me into it. I guess we could just talk about the meta for a second, which is, I mean, we are seeing a lot of Dokkaebi, Deimos, Snake. We asked earlier, I think we asked Troy before the season, Noah. We asked Spiker if we thought we were going to see a lot of Snake. I don't think we thought we were going to see it as much as we see it now. But do you think he's definitely impacted the meta in a good way? Is that kind of what you're getting at with the gap hits? Is that why we're seeing it so much?
Yeah, I mean, with so many info ups, it's just like everyone's a one-man army. Like, with Deimos is a one-man army, Dokkaebi is a one-man army, Solid Snake, like, I just can sit outside a door and just constantly keep scanning it. Like, I did that against JJ. I just sat outside, stalked all around, just, like, pinging him over and over again, and then I just walked in and killed him. Like, it's just so much info, and, like, if you ban those, then guess what? Then I can bring out Blitz
Ying.
and BB and Ying and Grim and Glaz and
Ram.
Like, it's just like Mike does not like Ram.
Right.
No, it's just another operator. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, Snake is. I'm just like, well, okay. Oh, okay. So we just know that like this whole quadrant of the map's free. Okay, that's great.
But that's like a big thing. Is like I think it's like it's opened the gap to like just taking map control like so quick. And if you take map control really quick, it gives you the advantage, right? Because now you're not playing the 5v6 when you're attacking. You basically have the advantage because now the defense is like, oh, they have this much map control at 2 minutes 15. Like, we need to do something now, or we need to fight for this map control because if they take this space, like, we're just gonna be all stuck in sight. So like, no matter what, you're just like in a pickle now, like on defense.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about the game for me, and that I don't know if like viewers are catching on is like the different styles we have to play in Rainbow Six, and like the better teams know how to play every single one of those styles because, like you said, with the ban phase, you get rid of the shields and like, oh, why don't teams ban like or on JJ? Why don't they ban the double shields? Well, if you ban the shields, you open yourself up to the Ying, to the Glaz, to the Lurks, to the utility play of Capital, Damo, whatever it is. There's so many different ways to play Siege, and you definitely can't, like, I guess, crutch on one or the other. Like we might see Spirits kind of doing sometimes if he's just hopping on some shields, and that's kind of it. But yeah, definitely something I definitely noticed. I gotta ask because I know we're getting near the end of the show, and I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Shopify. I want to talk
We're gonna need
Shopify.
another show for this one.
Get Spoiled out of there. I'm just kidding.
They're getting a lot of hate right now. What's going on? What's going on with Shopify?
I
have
really
no
enjoyed Spoiled as a teammate, so like I have no bad words to say about him. It's just they just put so much pressure on themselves, and obviously like they're the only team that didn't make changes. So like, and I also do think they're like freshmen to tweet about it, but like everyone's known for a little while that they've kind of been outdated with their system, right? Just the way they attack, it's very telegraphed and whatnot. But I don't necessarily think it's bad. I just think I think because they've put so much pressure on themselves to perform, I just think they're playing bad. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the two people who've been given the most criticism, as happens quite a lot, are the two players who tend to be more support oriented. You know, like Spoit's not on the traditional fragging role. Canadian is fragging actually somewhat well in some of these games, but I mean, they're saying that he doesn't really get the most out of his team. Do you think that the responsibility of this squad lies solely with the both of them and maybe their coach Super, or do you think it's deeper than that? Any of you can answer, by the way. I know that Mike just gave kind of a face, but
I think we gotta start questioning some people. I mean, I don't know. I feel like
which people, Mike?
Which people?
Which people, Mike? We got to question some people. All right.
Come on now. Like, come on. Let's be I mean, he's such a polarizing personality, and he just I'm not a fan of that. I'm sorry. Like, it's just like he's very opinionated and he's a hater. But man, I mean, you hear the rumors of him just being a terrorist on that team. And you gotta start to wonder, after having so many world class, like so much talent on his teams, like how big of a role is that playing? I don't know. I don't know. I also feel like the way that like Troy plays Siege, I feel like no matter what, that works to an extent. I mean, we've seen success with that. Like, it's
You think,
just
are we
good.
taking Troy out back with the rest of 100 Thieves, or are we?
I don't
Is
think
there
so. I
room?
don't think so.
Are the
I
graves deep enough for his body as well,
I'm
Mike?
gonna be biased. I don't think we're taking Troy out back yet.
Okay.
Listen, he might not be shooting great, but that's not his job.
He is statistically putting up better numbers than Spoit. This
I don't
for
think he's
kickoff.
actually doing
The
bad.
bar's on the
He's
floor.
actually doing good.
Bars on the floor.
Yeah.
Trev comes out here and gives Troy a bone. I like that. I think that's nice. I can't diagnose the problem. Obviously, I talked to Troy a fair bit. I don't even know if Troy can fully diagnose the problem or if he just doesn't want to share that. But I mean, it's obviously the problems with a roster that good on paper. The problems are deep. Like
The problems definitely go more than just gameplay. Like the gameplay is one thing, but obviously, like I think pressure and like most of that is like. I also think a big thing is I do think a lot of the new teams are not really respecting them when they play them because they are like they've know kind of how SR plays, and a lot of the teams are just saying like we have to do this to like stop them or we have to play in their face or whatever, and they're just giving no fucks and just playing to shoot them, and they're playing with so much pressure that they're scared to to make those plays, do those things, like be so aggressive, right? And it's just falling on their face because they're just nervous. And I don't know if that's like a coach, like I don't know who that's coming from, but that's probably number one thing is just nerves and the pressure from themselves because that level of players don't play that bad without that, like they don't. I'm in scrims. We scrimmed them recently. They harassed us like for like 2 maps. We like beat them on 1, I think, but they. So it's not like they're playing bad in scrims. It's just in games they're putting so much pressure, I think.
the guy obviously who got the most criticism and is a lightning rod just because of who he is, and any player of his size and pedigree and content is always going to be the one who gets like the biggest magnoscope on you or the biggest magnifying glass on you is Spoit, obviously. And I don't know if you guys saw, but yesterday it got to a point where Spoit actually had to felt compelled to, whether he did or somebody on his management team or I don't know who, felt compelled to come out and actually make a tweet saying content creation is not the reason why I am doing so poorly, and it's not the reason why I'm letting the team down. How do we get here to a point where there's enough community sentiment, and maybe even amongst some of the pros this sentiment exists, they just might not be wanting to talk about it too much, that a pro player has to actually come out and say, no, it's not because I'm too focused on content? Is that not a worrying sign? That we're at this point, even if it's not true?
That started during Boston because we would either win or lose a game, and then we'd go back to the hotel room, and then like an hour later he would just be streaming, and then be getting subs, and that's when I started hearing like the talk about it. And I think it's just been a dialogue ever since, to be honest. And like I just don't think he's addressed it until now because he's playing like obviously they're not playing the greatest, so like the hate is it's like maximum. But that's like it's just I know he cares a lot. I know he puts a lot of effort in. And it's just unfortunate.
Do you think it's bullshit? Do you think? I mean, you teamed with him, and even then, right there, saying like we'd lose and then he'd be streaming an hour later. Do you think that impacts you? Do you think it's the kind of thing where maybe just having that in your mind can impact your gameplay?
Not like I don't really know like as a teammate if it did. Like I kind of maybe like him personally just because he's like burning himself out. But like I don't know him, right? I'm not gonna speak for him. But like the only thing I can think of is like burning out because you're spending so much time like doing stuff. But I'm not gonna speak for him on that,
Yeah. Well, I'm not asking. Well, I was more so asking your perspective, not to speak for him.
No, I mean I had no real issues. Like I understand. Like he's spoiled. Like there's like you're streaming. Like you have to do what you gotta do, right? And SI is like a big way to get money. And I think everyone acknowledged it. I do think it's like it can rub players wrong ways. So I think there has been maybe some dialogue within pros that like think about that because they obviously all watch that. But I personally, I had no issue with it.
I'm also going to correct myself just here. Canadian actually has worse stats than Spoit. I'm imagining that the most recent play day skewed that. But then neither of them are in really great shape. Out of 50 players, Spoit's 43rd, Canadian's 45th. Their EPS is 79 for Spoit, 78 for Canadian, and they've got a difference of Spoit has died one more time, but has 5 more kills. Like it's a very negligible difference. Neither of them are doing particularly well. But again, I think it's really easy to look at both of them and point the fingers solely at them. But
Yeah.
let's be frank here, and I mean I don't know if you guys are going to jump in and agree. There are lots of teams where we will see their top 3 players are annihilating everybody, and their bottom 2 players are terrible. And in the top, they're in the bottom 10 rated players in the league, and that team is in 3rd place. So it's not like you can look at the fact that like Spoit and Canadian are 43rd and 45th and be like, well, there's your problem right there, because the other 3 players are carrying them through these matches, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of getting carried, let's talk NJR. -6?
Fraud.
Fraud.
42nd.
Start a
I'm
Reddit
joking,
thread.
I'm joking.
One ranking above Spoit.
Just kidding.
I'm
Just
joking.
kidding. No, but to your point, his team's killing it on DZ.
Yeah.
Congrats to those guys. And I've never seen Nick
Yeah.
this low. This guy is. We already know Nick is disgusting. So,
Yeah.
But no, cancel him on Reddit.
I think he's just more of a support now than like anything. I think he's actually kind of like bought in completely to that. And also like he's playing like a whole new system. Fair.
Yeah, no matter the system or the amount of success, someone's taking the blows performance wise. I mean, you see it no matter what. It's not exclusive to Siege either. I don't know. I don't think it's.
That's why super teams don't work, because like egos get
Someone
like,
has to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
100%.
Someone's going to be last on the team. Somebody has to be, right? Like,
Yeah.
just the way it works. The DZ team has been very fun to watch. I will say that. I was a big skeptic of this roster when it was first assembled, and the one thing that the main criticism I feel like that most people leveled was like, who's going to entry? We talked about this subject on the podcast literally a couple days ago, so I don't need to retread it here. But yeah, I mean, if NJR is comfortable in his role, Mint, I mean, you have a lot of experience with Nick. I talk to Nick at most events. I think he's a great guy. But my read on NJR has always been that like he strikes me as the kind of guy who's not the most comfortable when the bright lights are on him. So I feel like if he's doing the dirty work and being the support on the team, or the main guy doing a lot of that, thankless work, let the other guys like the Newers and the Kino and all that, like let them have the big spotlight on them, and maybe, he can be more comfortable and settle into that role. Maybe my read is completely wrong. And, part of the show is figuring out what is real and what isn't, which is why I asked you guys about some of the things that we've said on the cast earlier. But I can't see Nick being unhappy on this role. I don't know if you agree.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I think Nick stepped up into he was literally carrying us on DZ for years.
Yes.
I don't want to say we wasted his prime. We got a championship together.
I was going to say, you want a major. I don't know if that.
Yeah, sorry, major. We won Charlotte.
Yeah.
Great event, favorite event of all time. No, this is exactly what Nick needed. I mean, obviously they're very loyal to Nick. He's been there longer than any other DZ member at this point, now that I'm not there anymore. And honestly, they built a team of like, Nick is very hardworking. I think that's what some people don't see players behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Nick is. Some people watch a lot of VODs, right? IGL. Some people do. Nick aim trains every single day. I would be into the bullpen. He always is early. He's there. He does his routine. Then he scrims. And then after he does another routine. Like Nick wants to win so badly. And now Nick is surrounded by the Callout, the SSG player system. Like Nick is the kind of guy that wants to go to the gym and hang out with people. He wants to talk mental stuff and read books. And he just wants to be part of a group of people like that are just as hungry as him. So he has absolutely no problem playing whatever role it is that they have him playing. And if Nick's performing the worst on the team,
that's a really good.
That's a great fucking sign, because I know what he's capable of. And if he's the worst player, holy shit, he's probably so happy right now.
I also think it's really good that he's playing with a bunch of his friends. like J90 and like Kina. I know they were like obviously close. So like I think he's probably having a blast. Like just outside of Siege. So like I don't think he cares them. Like obviously I'm sure he wants to perform better, but I don't. Knowing Nick a little bit, yeah.
I think he's the type of player to sacrifice performance for winning.
Yeah, all he cares about is what. That's 100%. He does not care about the stats. And you're right. I forgot about the J90 connection going back to Oblivion.
Yeah,
OB.
Oblivion with Iconic
OB.
on the team, and Iconic's back. So how fitting.
Merc and Fultz were on OB too way back in the day, weren't they?
I think it was a different. I think it's like
It's not the same. It was not the same roster, but it was they had an OB connection as well, if I remember correctly.
They're
You
having
can
no
fact
problem
check me on that.
on the entry though. I mean, Kino 8-0 on the entry, Jack 7-1 on the entry. It's
from scrimming them. It's like a committee thing.
right. It's a committee thing. It's. I kind of relate it similar to like Wildcard in the sense of like they don't have an entry either, but they were having a lot of success. They have shields, they have cheese, whatever it is. They're gonna find the pick. You don't really have to have that entry fragger. It's not. Again, the best thing about Siege is there's different ways to play.
I think the call-out system was like really good for that because like sure like they had like entry players, but like I didn't really ever feel like they were always in the same like always entering with the same player. If that made sense. Like I felt like they would always like spread and then like whoever had an opportunity would like enter.
Always some new bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you guys think? Because this is technically SSG, the regional farmers. They are regional farming right now. Do you think they make Salt Lake City no problem?
Yeah. No.
That's. I mean, yeah.
Do they? With Nick on the team, with Kino on the team, can they win internationally? Yeah.
Me too.
That's the question.
That's the. I mean, that's the question with every NA team, though. Pretty much. So.
Not wildcard. I know they can.
Well, they never. Well,
they haven't won
yet.
Can they make it though?
They never. Well, I mean,
they have the 94. They can do anything.
They can do anything, but I will say like that's the thing with every NA team because like based off expectations, right? Like the SR core before was like always getting top 8s, but they never won. So then people would always talk down on them. The only reason people feel good about wildcard is because like they're always the underdog story, but like now there's the expectation on them. So like, it's the same thing. Like all the NA teams, like they can do good, they can get these top placings, but it's really if you win is like the big thing, right? So the only one that's ever done it is recently.
At some point, I would like to get all 4 of you to name the 4 teams that you think, and you can include your team. It doesn't need to be right now. We can do it at the tail end of this discussion because I think things are flowing well. But I do want to hear from the 4 of you which teams you think NA will send to Salt Lake City. But it doesn't need to be now because I still kind of want to talk about some of the other teams because there has been so much upheaval. I just kind of want a lay of the land. You know, I want to know which teams do you think have like the biggest room to grow, which teams are the most frightening, which teams you think are underperforming. Do you think 5 Fears are the real deal because they look pretty good? Or do you think it's going to be like when Envy started stage 2 really hot and then fell off? And it's the floor. The floor is open. You can literally just pick up on whatever you want and just riff off of it. There's no.
I think you guys should talk because I think me and Mike a lot.
I think they're definitely in a honeymoon stage right now. I want to see them actually make a major because on that roster, only like Fofo obviously has experience, and Snake has a little bit from his time on TSM, but the rest of the team has never actually been to an international event. So I'd be quite curious to see how they would play internationally. And it kind of reminds me a little bit like their play style of like OXG when Forrest first joined, where he's creating all the chaos and then everyone else is getting like all the kills. And it worked out at the beginning of OXG, and then they kind of like got away from that. So I wonder if that's going to happen to 5 Fears as well. Like if teams are going to figure them out.
Another thing with 5 Fears is like, I do think it's kind of a honeymoon. For one, because I mean, have we ever seen JJ shoot this well? Ever?
It's
changed.
He went back to normal in our game, I'll say.
Yeah, like he didn't play that well against us, but like I will say, like the more VODs you get on them, I think will help a lot. I do think they're playing obviously very great. Like I'm not gonna discredit them, but OXG was chronic playoff. before like chokers when like pressure actually got on them. Let's see when the pressure's on. Like, will these players play the same? Will they perform as well? Like, I mean, that's a question for every team, right? Like right now, because everyone's basically new besides like one. So let's see how these teams perform in playoffs, because that's the biggest concern for me. I think they put a lot of pressure on themselves in like internally as individuals. So I'm wondering how that will go.
They did have a problem with pressure last stage when they were one game away from making even playoffs, right? And they had like 3 or 4 games. Do you think that is something that could affect them? Because they are about the boot camp. I don't know if I've been pretty sure JJ made that public. They're actually going to Dallas or wherever. I don't know. 5 years is sending them, but they are boot camping for playoffs. Actually, I think they're one of the few, and they're one of the few NAL teams that will be boot camping for the actual playoffs. Do you think that's going to add some pressure?
I think that'll help them, if anything. I don't see how that could hurt a team.
Yeah.
Unless they just like have like the worst internet ever. But
or they all end up hating each other as human beings.
Well, Texas is pretty good as internet. That's where you want to go.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where mine went out and I had to play on a hotspot. So shit, I don't know.
You were kind of nasty on the hotspot.
They should be.
We need to go back.
Yeah,
they should be all right.
You're right, actually.
I think Five Fear. I have a strong opinion about their success. I think one. Tiger's laughing because he's heard it all already, but I think the success will be very short-lived. 1, 2. I think it all comes from Forest and their new assistant coach Phoenix. We got to work with Phoenix just like a small bit.
We thought he was very good.
Yeah, I think he's very good. He was a pro COD coach. Not a lot of people in NA that I can confidently say are not check steal, like coaches that are not check stealers. He's one. I don't think he is. And then Forest. I mean, I'm sure Forest is great. I don't know. I mean, I don't have experience with them. The thing is though, with Forest coming in, I'm imagining like JJ's like, yeah, he's the IG. I imagine Forest is doing most of the calling. Like, I imagine that's how it's really playing out. I don't know. I mean, I obviously don't know the internal, but They can't have any real success because I'm gonna be honest, JJ is just so fucking bad. Like, he's really like.
If Forrest plays bad and he plays bad,
yeah,
it's
like,
over.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any long-term success with them. I don't know. I'm still.
Trev, jump in. Trev, you were ready.
I will say when they actually played SR the other day. First off, in scrims, JJ's team destroys us. They're without a doubt the best scrim team that we play against. I don't know if you guys have scrimmed them or not, but Feds is always going absolutely nuclear in the scrims. He's like 20 at every map. I've never seen anything like it. But I think their game plan going into SR was actually really good of banning both the Denari and like the Ella and then abusing shields. And I don't think SR really knew how to counter that. But that's something where they can't do that again, I don't think. Like going into playoffs, they kind of showed their cheese on that.
That's the OXG bans. They have all the OXG bans. Because Forrest has been doing that for literally like a year and a half now since he joined OXG. So they do literally the same bans he did since then. I'm sure they might change it, but like it's still going to be the same idea. And if they change it, like they probably might get worse at the map. So
yeah, because I don't even know like most like they got rid of the 2 main shield counters. It's kind of hard to deal with shields then, especially on like a small map of Chalet. Yeah. I don't really blame SR for like losing that game. I think that was like a good game plan by them going in, but I don't know. Yet again, if they play that map in playoffs and they try to do the same thing, but then like shields get banned against JJ, what does JJ do? Because have they shown that they can play like the Union Glass when the shields are banned against them? Or just like the snake like lurking gapping?
I think in the last game actually versus, I mean, you guys say it was in your hands, but that was the first game I'd seen them not play double shields once. Normally they pull it out and they say they like to crank. They didn't pull it out once, even though you guys had BB. And I think it was right, BB. So Monty Blitz were still up, and they actually just spammed. I think Fofo played Grim every goddamn round.
They played shields every once in a while, but I also do think we were just like we were not
buns. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah,
We're
we were
buns.
we were giving them freebies left and right. Like
You were. Yep.
Like if we were playing like 5v5s, playing together, like our game plan was to like cheese them like as a team, like press them or like do whatever. If we actually did that, then I do think their game plan wouldn't have worked as well because like a shield, if you have a shield and a man disadvantage, it would have been bad. But they got a man advantage every single time, and when you have Grim like on layer, it's just what can you do? Like they just grimmed out everything. You have to give up the spot. Whatever, like we're just at a man disadvantage every round on defense, so we were just shooting ourselves in the foot.
The whole story of our defense is that last round they literally couldn't plant, and we died to them flooding with no time and
and
like the best angles on them possible. We're just playing like absolute jackasses.
Yeah,
we have no composure, and we're not forcing a plant or anything.
Yeah, we were intentionally sandbagging, like we like to say.
Yeah.
I appreciate the accountability here. I like how this has been probably one of the most accountable episodes from a team I've heard in quite some time.
We're very blunt with each other because we're all friends. Yeah. So we we don't get paid. So we don't get paid.
Foot Locker's not paying you like residuals or anything for like trying to use their name.
Listen, we reached out. Well, let's say that we reached out. We reached out. They said no, but
we got a response.
No,
it was an AI bot. It was an AI bot.
They didn't say anything.
Okay.
But I feel like you could easily convince an AI bot to just say yes to something. Run it up the
chain.
Like
stopped responding. It was weird. I don't know.
But yeah, so like we just like we know our issues, right? And like we're all friends, so we'll just sit up straight like we didn't force them to actually win the round a single time on our defenses. We just kind of gave it to them every single time. Same issue with our like SR game. Like they bunkered every basement. We didn't clear any Goyos or anything, and we didn't open any walls. We just wasted time, and we just lost the game because of that. Like we just couldn't do the most basic stuff that they were like giving to us on a silver platter, and we know those issues. So like the first step for us is like acknowledging it. So like that's what we gotta do. So like we think we think those guys suck. Like we're gonna still stand on it that we think 5-4 sucks. Right? And they think we suck. So it's just how it's going to go.
Do the Outlast boys think any different?
From scrims? I don't know. We were getting.
They're the kings. They're the kings. I surrender.
But I do think it's going to be a little more interesting when there's like more pressure on them. Because I think the group stages, there was little to no pressure on them.
Yeah. That's the thing that I could see getting to them is like, I think they're kind of in a honeymoon phase, like we said, and I think the pressure could get to them and they might crumble, but we'll see. I mean, they've been playing well. I can't, they won all their games. I can't talk shit. We lost all our games.
I do want to see JJ on stage, though. I think JJ on stage would be very entertaining.
That would be hilarious, yeah.
I love JJ.
Stocks would be up.
For like 3 matches.
For like 3 Wow.
Damn.
I'm just saying whatever everyone's thinking. I'm just saying whatever everyone's thinking.
This league is fucking boring if everybody sings Kumbaya and is like, it was just a rough day for 5 Fears. Like, they're a great team. They got some really good guys. Like, they just gotta try harder next time. You're like, no, they fucking suck ass. Like, that's great.
Listen, they're geniuses. They're 4-0. But we're gonna be better geniuses come playoffs.
Playoffs where it matters.
You gotta get past SSG first. And then you got your day with 5 Fears, and then the winner of that goes.
Yeah, but they got Mitch.
SLC.
Like they got Mitch. Like who cares?
Oh,
I love.
Well,
Mitch.
make me jump in.
I love.
You
Mitch.
insulted Mint's best friend.
Listen. I'm close friends with Mitch too. Like I love Mitch.
Who isn't? That guy loves everybody.
I know. I just love that dude. But you know what I'm saying? I got to joke around a little bit.
That's one of Yardy's top 3 Chads.
I'm excited to play him. Obviously.
That's another track in this tier list. I forgot about that one.
There was a good. Actually, I know that we try not to use the Reddit as much as possible. I was actually crediting the Reddit on the last show for how much they clip this podcast. Something we said about Brazil just resurfaced because we're like, it should be a competitive day, whatever. And then it was 3 7-0s to start things off. Somebody made a very good point. They said best of ones are fine for just regular games, but elimination matches should never be best of ones. Just want to get a quick temperature check here. Does anybody disagree with that? Because I imagine most of us will probably agree. If you're getting eliminated, it should probably be a best of 3.
In a
I like
bracket
events.
format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that type of stuff. Yeah, like
You have a round robin, I think it's fine. Best ones.
yeah, like if you're playing like a group stage and like you're playing another team, you get eliminated. Like whoever wins, the other team gets eliminated. Like you've already had your chances, right? Like it has to just still be a BO1 because it'd be unfair to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Especially a group where 4 teams make it out. Like best of ones are fine. Like you just have to not like. There's gonna be a team that's just that utterly shit. That's just gonna get eliminated.
Yo, the right.
Like-
Yo.
Yo.
man.
Listen, it could be worse. They could be 100T. So
You're not threatening to kill anybody on Outlast.
no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, good for them. They haven't been what you call it? They haven't plateaued for a long while, and haven't been stealing a large amount of checks. So
Well, because you've been so gracious with your time, we're closing in on 3 hours. We're just shy of it. Again, blink if you miss it. Probably hard to imagine that you've been here for 3 hours, unless you're dreading this and think, oh my God, it feels like I've been here all day. I'm going to give the floor to Mike and Packer first, and then we'll allow the OL guys to close this out. The top 4 teams that you think are going to make Salt Lake City. You can say yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. You can not say yourself. I guess OL technically you can't say yourself. Sorry, but what are the 4 teams you think are going to make it? You don't have to give order. You don't have to give results. Just right now, looking at the landscape of the brackets and how teams are playing.
you want to go first, Packer?
Sure. So I'm looking at the bracket. So I'm a. I think us, SSG, DZ, and M80 are going to be the teams at the event. Because I think the winner of our game is going to beat JJ, and then whoever loses is going to be Cloud9, and then they're going to win the lower bracket, I think.
Okay.
So, or like they're going to win like that side of the lower bracket.
Okay. So, for those that are listening or don't, because I don't think there will be a visual component here, Packer's saying 1 of 30 will make it, DarkZero will make it, M80 will make it, and you said SSG is your 4th? Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
New
Mike,
teams, I
any
like it.
differences? Oh, sorry, Kyle?
No, just 2 new teams. I like it.
I think I'll agree. I mean, I think it's the same. I think M80 is good. I think their game against 5 Fears again. I mean, I don't know. I think 5 Fears, having their honeymoon or whatever. I think M80's really good. I think Ashen's a great pickup. I think you guys talked about it on the last episode. That long term, I think Ashen's an upgrade. I totally agree with that. DZ, I don't think. I mean, we know that when their backs against the wall, they'll show up at the very least. So if they somehow end up in lower bracket, they'll make it through. And then us. I mean, I'm excited for us. I think I have a lot of things I think could help us. I mean, we have a lot of people with ideas on our team, which is really what's great. It's just now about applying it, and so I think we can get.
I think it's really
To
important for us. We
major.
have like the 10 days to like really focus in.
I'm trying to see the Mormon Housewives.
Yeah.
That's my
Yes,
motivation.
finally.
Came up
yeah.
last
Someone that
time
knows
too.
ball.
Oh my!
Nope.
Finally,
I'm
someone knows ball.
I'm trying to see
Thank
some
you.
nature, like the nice nature that's over there too. Going on a little field trip.
Little-
Utah,
little
I have
Kingdom
heard.
meetup.
I have heard that obviously, while the religious aspect of Mormonism is strange to a lot of people, I have heard that Utah itself is beautiful, like
Yeah.
just gorgeous. And I don't think we'll really be able to do too much. From my look, it seems like you're going to need to drive like an hour or 2 outside the city to get to like really nice nature. And I don't know how many of you are driving or will have access to cars, but I've heard, a lot of good things about Utah. And when we were looking at moving to Vegas for the NAL before obviously COVID squashed that idea, there was definitely an allure to go to Utah. And Blue, who the former caster who lives in Vegas, had said many, many times, he's like, I'll literally just escape for a weekend to Utah. And he's like, it's incredible. You need to do it. So Trev or Millie, which one of you is going to give final word? You choose amongst yourselves who wants final word. I suppose the question needs to be asked: do you disagree with their top 4? Do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be 1 of 30 M80 SSG, or sorry, 1 of 30 M80 SSG and DZ? You don't think wildcard's going, eh? You didn't think
No.
that? You don't think Packer
Maybe
and
Shark.
Mike? You don't think wildcard's going, eh? You just think they draw the
Yeah.
I just don't
I was
think they
starting
played up to par like recently, and I think Baby Shark has had like a really hard time finding his form, and I think he's like the biggest part of that team. Just because he plays such a lurker like opening for them, and I think he's just gonna have a rough ending with his playoffs, and then he'll bounce back like afterwards. 'Cause I still think he's he's showed he's very good.
Mhm.
He just hasn't showed it right at the kickoff event.
All right, Trevor, Millie, 4
You got it,
teams.
Trev.
That means he wants to end the show for us. Wow. Can't wait, Millie. I'm excited.
I'm looking at the bracket, and if I'm looking at this right, I don't know if they're gonna win, but I would like JJ to make the major because I think JJ on stage would be perfect. I think he is literally what the scene needs, and we need like more of, because he's just so funny and he has so many. How many times is there like a tweet of JJ, or after they won, there's like a GIF of JJ? I think it's amazing. And I think right now they are actually pretty fun to watch.
Packer could hip thrust too. If that's what you want him to do, he'll stand up
JJ
right
has
now.
said he's
We're
not
actually
interested
just-
anymore because he doesn't want to get fined thousands of dollars. So
Listen,
Yeah, I did
I
tell him don't
got
do that.
I got some emotes. Let's just say I was. Let's say I was. Philly Liv was gonna get a little crazy if I clutch around.
Okay.
JJ moved on to the karate kick. I think that one is that's a good one. I want to see you do.
he
a
was
karate kick
busting
back
out good stuff for us. I was
You want me
enjoying
to-
it.
You want me to? I'll do it in playoffs. I got you. I'll do it in playoffs.
And
But I
collapse
can't
the
do a
stage, Packer.
Yo, I can't do a karate kick. I gotta do something else, but I'll do something.
I'll
So
hold
you
to that.
you want 5 Fears to make it, Trev. Do you think they're going to make it?
Maybe. It's not. It doesn't matter what I think. It's what'll happen. So
Okay. All right. Who else? Who else?
We
you
got Confucius on the show, dude.
I think DZ's 100% gonna make it. I think they look like the best team, like without a doubt. In an A. Yeah, I actually think like DZ. I know you guys spoke on it earlier, but I just want to bring it up. I think Kino going to that team with Callout is huge for Kino. Like that's. I
That's a
think
good
that's
point.
kind of what he needed. And then obviously NJR, you guys spoke on that as well. I think that is perfect. And it's a team where literally all 5 people can shoot. I'm just worried if they're going to run into the same issues as old SSG, where are they able to adapt kind of like mid-game without the call-out help? Because if I'm not mistaken, Fultz is still like the IGL, and he was on SSG as well, right? So are they going to run into the same like international issues? But I think with that out regionally, they're going to make it to the event. And then probably, what would that leave? Like M80. And then who did you guys say? Who was your last one?
SSG or us? Yeah, like the 2 that you're excluding.
Probably you guys. I think SSG, the pressure might get to them. Just because they do have rookies. Or I guess
we don't
a
have-
rookie.
We don't have those.
Yeah,
no
but-
rookies on Packers team.
He was just calling one was shaking right now. The stage, but the stocks.
Yeah.
You got to buy.
No,
I think
listen,
I think Nate is very good, and I think if you watch back the SR game, he was super impactful in that game, even if it didn't show on like the scoreboard necessarily. Like his Rafters play, was literally top tier, beautiful. Couldn't have played it better.
he will be great. Buy the
No one's
stocks
been
now.
harder on him than himself about
Yeah.
this too, and I think we're really. I mean, he has great support around him too. I don't doubt he can bounce back from
Yeah.
sitting around this.
That's my go. He will be great.
Yeah.
He will carry me in Pro League for the next year.
I don't think.
Yeah, I would say 1 of 30 over SSG. I think you guys played the game better.
Oh, how nice of you, Trev.
Thank
Thank you.
I was wondering if you were gonna
Suck it up.
shelve them and say 1 of 30's not making it right to their faces. I would have loved that to see.
Don't worry, Millie will do it.
All right, Millie.
So hold on, sorry, one sec. Trev, so just your 4 lined up. Easy. 1 of 30. Is it M80 and who was the other?
5.
JJ?
JJ.
5 fears.
JJ's copium. A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
All
going
right,
to say
Millie.
the same. I think JJ wins his 1 BO3. I think he does. But I think the loser of that BO3 will qual. So I think it's a toss-up between 1 of 30 and SSG. Are the other two, because I think it's gonna be 5 fears, DarkZero, M80, and then similar to Trev. Like, I think Packer beats SSG, but I think the winner of that first upper bracket quarterfinal BO3 is gonna be the 4th team that quals.
Guys, is that not just straight aura? You guys are saying I beat a 4-0 team and a 3-1 team when I went 1-3.
Okay, let me ask you this, Packer.
You got it.
Do you think you're going to fix your issues before next game day? This
course.
might change my answer.
Yeah,
Of
like
course.
Like Nate's gonna shoot.
I hope so. Oh my
Nate's
god.
Nate's gonna be great in playoffs, and we're gonna shit on everyone.
Mm.
Me and Mike are gonna
Bang.
keep it up. I won't go 0-4 on entry like I did against SR.
Yeah, if Nate plays like himself, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if I've ever had this in T2. I'm +9 on entry. I have the second highest entry stat, which is
Career.
that's career out of me. So I mean, if I keep that up. I mean, shit.
Mike's in 11th, looking just outside the top 10 window, just like all the 10 people in there having a great time.
Yeah.
Now the real question is, who do INTERRO and Mint think are gonna make it?
Oh.
Mm.
That is a good one, and I have no problem making a prediction. I can go first, Kyle, if you want.
Sure.
So, I'm a bit surprised with how low you all are on both Shopify Rebellion and Wildcard. I obviously think SR has earned that, but I also think that they're a team that can easily make a run. I don't know right now if they're going to be able to pull that off, but I think that the Wildcard stocks are maybe a bit too low. I think that there's a potential that over the next week, because we're as of filming this show, we're like exactly 7 days, I think, or 8 days away from the next play day.
9, I think.
Is it 9?
It's the 20th. So
Yeah. Okay. I was just thinking my casting schedule, but I'm casting Brazil on the 18th and the 19th, so that's what I was getting it confused with. So I think it's possible that Wildcard can tighten some screws. I don't think there's any denying that the core of that team is still very, very good. I think diagnosing the issue as Baby Shark is a very good one. He's looked miserable. His numbers have been very bad. And I mean, I feel like he's always kind of been the bellwether on that team. If he's having a good game, the team is doing very well. If he's having a bad team, the team tends to do very poorly.
He's the X Factor, 100%. So, like, I mean, if he plays well, I have no doubt, like, thinking they could upset anyone.
But he has not played very well. He's the 5th worst rated player right now. And on his role, like, he shouldn't be down there, right? So I think you guys clear Space Station in the upper bracket quarterfinals, which knocks SSG down to play, is it Cloud9 or is it Shopify?
It's Cloud9. If you lose the first BO3, it's Cloud9, yeah.
Because sometimes they mirror it, right? Where you go down to the other ones.
I thought it flipped the second
Bracket
round.
flip.
Yeah, I was wondering that because a lot of times they mirror it where the loser will play like SR, but
it flips the next round. Like if you lose in the upper bracket semifinals, that's when you'll go to the bottom half.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's where we were. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it flips.
So I think you guys clear Space Station. I think it's a gritty 3-mapper. I think 5 fears in you. That's a tough one. I'm just solely going off of what I've seen through groups. And it's like, I think 5 fears wins that right now. But I mean, I think that's another 50-50. I honestly think the SSG 1 of 30 and then the 5 fears, like that square is the one that is the hardest to predict of them all. I think you could flip a coin and get different outcomes every time. I think all 3 of you could genuinely qualify. And I think it just comes down to game day, right? I think M80 beats Wildcard. I think that one's kind of, I don't want to say a no-brainer, but I think that one's easier to predict. I think that one could go 3 maps, but I mean, I think M80 sticks the landing, and then I think M80 loses to DZ. I'm with you guys. I've watched, I think there was one game of DZ's that I only caught like half of. Which match was it that I can't remember which DZ game it was that I only watched half of, but either way, I think DZ's the best looking team. I agree with a lot of you guys there. I haven't really noticed a major weakness, but again, it's 4 best of ones.
I was gonna say, I think
Right,
M80
like-
is gonna be the first real test for them.
Yeah.
To be honest, with the way that
Yeah.
M80's been playing recently,
And
Yeah.
a best of 3 as well.
and it's a best of 3.
Yeah.
Like I think that'll be because we've seen them before with that system where they've like played a great group stage, they went to playoffs, and then they lose the opening game. So like
Yeah.
who knows?
So that would put. I mean, I'm for the sake of argument here, I'm going to put 5 Fears and DZ in the upper bracket final, which means both of them qualify. For lower brackets, then it would be C9 versus SSG. I think SSG wins that match. That would be Shopify Rebellion versus Wildcard. I think Wildcard wins that match. I think there is a potential for that to be a really ugly game. And then that would put SSG versus you guys, if my bracket is correct. And,
It would be
or would that be when it flips?
it would be M80 because you said DZ would be M80, so it would be SSG.
Right, okay,
versus
yeah.
M80.
You versus M80 is a real tough one. And it's like I would love to see you guys there. What are you laughing at?
We would play the winner of Wildcard Shopify, and M80 would play the winner of C9 SSG.
That's what I thought. And then you said, okay, so
oh, my bad,
okay.
my bad.
No, that's okay. I think you guys have a very good shot of beating Wildcard. And then obviously if you beat Wildcard, you qualify, right? And then it'd be what? SSG versus M80? I think M80 wins that. So it would be, by the bracket, it would be you guys, M80, DZ, 5 Fears. If my bracket is correct.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you think?
My totally unbiased, not friendship bracket. Here we go.
SSG.
Don't follow me because I'm always wrong. Here we go. So SSG 1 of 30. I think 1 of 30 gets cleared. Those guys suck. So SSG, SSG versus 5 Fears. I got SSG. Easy. JJ's gonna shake. Raid Bully's on top. He clears console. It's the console takeover era. Hashtag stomping in the YouTube chats, please. YouTube, back me up on this. Anyway, moving on. M80 Wildcard. I think M80 they look really good. I think Wildcard are obviously struggling. We all see that. M80 versus DZ. I agree with Mike. I think this is DZ's real test. DZ hater here. M80 win. M80 SSG in the uppers. That knocks DZ down. That knocks 5 Fears down. Cloud9, 1 of 30. I'm never picking anyone to lose to Cloud9. Those guys are horrible. So congratulations.
They have Focal though. And Sin.
Congratulations, 1 of 30. You won a game. Congratulations. Congratulations, you won a game. You are going against DZ though, and unfortunately, I am still going to pick DZ. Just playing the odds here. Taking DZ, even though I'm a professional DZ hater. Would not be surprised they lose that game. And then Shopify Wildcard. There's one thing you guys are forgetting, gentlemen. Troy Canadian is inevitable. That guy has made every single LAN event since the dawn of time, since before we were all born. Okay. Troy and Shopify, you guys are just SR haters. And I hope the YouTube chat, I hope the Spoy fans, I hope they all come after you in the comments and on Twitter, because Shopify is inevitable. They're beating Wildcard. They're beating JJ because he's going to shake again. Shopify to the LAN event. Ambi, the best defensive IGL of our generation. Boy's making the comeback. You guys seen it in the tweet? He said it. What were the words? What were the words? You will remember this day or something like that? Some AI stuff?
Oh, that's
some AI stuff.
You
we
will
said they
remember.
Were world-class players. You're just we just said they put too much pressure on themselves.
Surf win. Yeah. No, I love
Surf on top.
And Ambi.
Surf on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a very, very boring prediction there. I do hope we do see some new blood. The only one I kind of predicted there was SSG, and obviously the org's not new. I do hope we do see some more new teams. I'm not gonna lie. That's just me predicting for fun. But on a viewer note, now that I'm watching. I hope you do, Packer, but I've been there. I've been jobless at an event top 4, and I didn't get shit out of it. So, best of luck to you. And I really do hope you do get an org, because I don't wish that on anybody playing in Pro League against people that are making $8,000. And you're
No, I mean, those guys have there are Louis Vuitton bags in the background.
We're flaunting it.
Spent more money in one trip to Louis Vuitton than I've made my entire time on this game. Like what am I supposed to do? Like,
speaking of which, in practice, we'll be like getting shit on by like a team that gets like paid way more. We're like, dude, they just get paid so much money.
No, he gets paid an amount.
Yeah. Like Silo couldn't find a drone one time in scrims. And he's like, dude, they just have invincible drones because they just pay people for money. Like,
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, salaries are coming down, so there might be less Louis Vuittons on display. I mean, I think all of you are too young to remember the Balenciaga era.
no, I was there.
What do you mean?
I was in that. Yeah.
Were you? When the first thing that like every single pro did when they moved to Vegas was buy something from Balenciaga, and I was just like, guys, the money never runs out. Keep spending it. Like, that's
Gio's a
Louis
good
Vuitton, I guess.
financial advisor. See,
Gio?
I'm not making those poor decisions. Yeah.
WGO.
I would
preaches his wisdom.
I would love to get Gio on this show one day and talk. It was really good seeing him in Toronto. I'm glad that you were able to, give him the praise he deserves, because he is responsible for an awful lot of people gaining some valuable experience as players, as leaders, etc. I think he's been great, and he's seems like a solid dude, and I hope he's doing well. I'm glad that you got a chance to talk about him. Kyle, did we miss anything?
We did not miss a dang thing, and if we did, we'll have to
We'll get
bring
it next
him back.
episode.
That's the whole point.
We'll bring him back. We can always bring people on. That's the beautiful thing. We can bring people on whenever we want. Gents, it was great having you on the show. We tried to do this a week or two ago, and then schedules did not line up properly. And then Mint had a bunch of real life stuff that prevented him from being able to make it. That was tied in with the Philippe show. That's why I did that one alone. And then there was just scheduling conflicts with scrims and stuff like that. The fact that we were able to find two teams that were able to join us and have a really good banter back and forth is incredible. Just want to say thank you to all four of you. Of course, when we bring people on the show, the goal is to always show you off in a positive light. Hopefully the people that have now watched this show, you'll find them as new fans, because at the end of the day, Packer is a relatively known quantity. For the other three of you, you're still starting your journey. You're just beginning. You're going to be picking up fans. You're going to be picking up accolades. You're going to be picking up those highlight reel clips that you're going to be in, Mike, hopefully not team killing your own, your IGL, but it happens from time to time. I will say, I was going to say, I struggled to think of a better debut than that. That was phenomenal stuff. So
No.
I
I just want to say to
April 1st.
I just want to say to all four of you, I really appreciate you joining us. There's obviously a lot that people can learn about the scene. I think you did an excellent job of filling them in. So thank you very, very much for coming on this show. I really appreciate it. And of course, best of luck for 1 of 30. Best of luck on the qualifier playoffs for Outlast. Best of luck in the off season. And I'm excited to see you folks back in action for stage number 1 and see the growth that you achieve over the next, month or two until we're back in things. It's not, I can only imagine, and I say this with no experience behind me, I can only imagine how hard it is to make your debut on such short notice and try to keep up with other people in the region. So don't let the naysayers and the peanut gallery on social media get to you, and feel free to delete Twitter and Reddit on your phones if that keeps you happy. So hopefully this is not the only time the four of you will be on the show. We really appreciate it. Just want to say thanks. And of course, to those that are watching at home, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you made it all the way, leave a comment too, just because it helps the algorithm. And on behalf of our show, on behalf of Mint, on behalf of Packer, Mike, Trevmak, and Millie in no particular order, and Last Free Nation, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.